score was 3-2-1. The Democrats won in 54. And I don't know if this was the cause and effect, but that fall the Republicans lost the House. They did not regain the House until, I believe, 1994, Mitchell.
That's correct. So you've got to watch the political trends as well as the statistical trends on the field. And just a quick note about Cedric Richmond, and we also mentioned Steve Scalise earlier. Obviously, they're both on different political sides of the aisle, but very much have a tie-in with Louisiana, both of them from that state, and especially after what happened with Steve Scalise, they've bonded in various ways during this game.
And the New Hampshire guy in me is just fuming because, yes, Louisiana, Arizona, California, Texas, of course, they're going to have the better playing representatives because it's summer starting in March, whereas in New Hampshire we get, I think, 2 weeks, starting in July, ending in August, and then it's black fly season. Noah, you had a chance to chat up. You had a chance to speak with the Republican pitcher. But right now, let's take a timeout and let's hear the national anthem sung this evening. Honor guard walking the flags as it were, right behind the curly W.
Please remain standing as we honor our country with a performance of the Star-Spangled Banner. Performing the national anthem this evening, we welcome Army veteran D.C. Washington.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the Rockies red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Our thanks to the United States Capitol Police Ceremonial Unit and the best in the business, our proud Army veteran, D.C. Washington.
Well, hopefully that sets the tone for the rest of the evening. A nice, clean, crisp anthem from D.C. Washington, as to be expected. He is the most reliable anthem in the D.C. area for pregame festivities.
And he understands that it's not a ballad. It's an up-tempo rocker. You just get it through briskly, and you head there. We were talking about the pitching matchup just a second ago. Cedric Richmond starting for the Democrats. For the Republicans, Greg Stubbe. He is a rookie in every sense of the word. This is his first year. He won election last fall, and Noah, you had a chance to chat with him as he prepares to pitch in the Congressional Baseball Game.
I didn't understand how big of a deal it is and how many people come until I got elected. And it was in new member orientation. I think it was just the Republicans. And Rodney Davis asked if anybody played baseball, and I'm like the only guy that raised their hand. And so he came during new member orientation, so I'm supposed to be sitting there getting a briefing. He's like, come on. So he takes me down to the members gym. He had 2 gloves, hand me a glove. We take our jackets off and start throwing in the members gym. And then you start to realize, it's how important it is to a lot of people here.
And what's your experience level? Did you pitch in high school and college?
So I never actually pitched. My coaches, so I was all-state in Florida in high school. I was an outfielder, but I could hit really well. Had a couple scholarships to play baseball, decided not to do it. When you play a sport for so long in your life, I started playing baseball, t-ball when I was 4 or 5. I kind of needed a break after playing competitive high school baseball. So I decided not to play anymore, and then I missed it. I came back. I tried to walk on to Florida, and I got hurt before the tryouts. And then, play softball here and there, but nothing like being able to train up for this. So I knew that I was going to need to spend an incredible amount of time getting my arm ready. So I started in January. I have a pitching coach back home. He was a professional pitcher for the Rays. I think he played for the Orioles too, James Hauser. So when I'm not here, I'm throwing every day back home. And, we had a training course set up for the 6 months, and if I wouldn't have done that, my arm would be nowhere near where it is today.
Well, that's one of the things that I've talked to Cedric Richmond about over the years is, he pitched in college, but it is a whole different thing when you're coming out and, you just don't have the looseness of your arm, from throwing every day, but also just to build up to be able to throw a game. Have you like done sessions to try to?
Yeah. So what we'll do, I wish he would have let me out there longer than he did, but he's got to get these other guys in. But what I do at home, so every Saturday, and the local news station did a story about it, sent a crew out to videotape it. So my pitching coach also is the head baseball coach for Sarasota Christian High School. So on Saturdays, he'll get the guys to come out and his catcher to come out, and I'll throw to his team. And so they'll, it's good for them because they're getting live pitching, batting practice. And it's good for me because there's a big difference just throwing to a mitt and then having a guy up there with a baseball bat. So that's been a huge help. So I threw on the mound today. Tomorrow I'll probably just do some long toss, and then tomorrow or Saturday I'll meet up with him, throw off the mound, and do, try to get 70, 80 pitches in.
Nice chat there with the new guy. I'm sure there's no pressure whatsoever. I'm sure there are no committee chairmanships hanging in the balance.
Well, and as he said, he's never actually pitched competitively before. So he took 6 months to get ready for this game. That was last week when we were chatting, saying he was going to get up to 70 or 80 pitches, try to get stretched out. I assume that means to try to go 90 or 100 today if he needs to. 7 innings, you think of a big league pitcher, maybe that's 100 pitches, but this can be a grind. There can be walks. It's these guys are not professional athletes. It's not going to be nearly as clean. So it's it'll be really interesting to see, especially in his first year.
Yeah, and a lot of people may not know, but there is actually a freshman orientation that he was talking about. Now, not everybody gets plucked out, obviously, to be on the baseball team, but it's kind of like going to college, and that's a lot of the lawmakers that I met when they first came here in January, especially on the House side. A lot of these people come in, they learn all about the ethics, about the guidelines, about finding a place to live, how they're going to balance things between their home district and here. So there's a lot to absorb, in addition to all of a sudden now trying to become the star pitcher.
And Bryce Harper wasn't here to tell him where to eat.
That's right.
As he has done in the past. Game ball delivery by a Clydesdale horse. You really wouldn't have it any other way, gentlemen.
I've never seen anything quite like this. We had, when I used to work for the Nats, when we were in New York, they had the war horse come out onto the warning track. I think Mike Morse might have thought it was an actual horse on the warning track. Confused everybody during a 7th inning stretch, turned into a whole production. This is definitely the most methodical game ball delivery I've ever seen.
And for those folks listening who can't see, the ball is not in the horse's mouth, because otherwise,
no,
I think Whitey Ford or Gaylord Perry doctored the ball up in that manner. Not anymore. Ball's being carried. The horse is just along.
I also don't see any sandpaper inside of its saddle,
Filers,
so
no.
That's good.
Well, it's security. It's tough to, exactly.
Lots of security
you can't have
here.
any of that.
You're right.
Republicans wearing red jerseys, white pants. Democrats wearing a smattering of uniforms. I thought I saw a Brooklyn Cyclones jersey from the representative from New York State.
Yeah, you normally both sides would wear their home district's jerseys. You really get a sort of the full gamut of full colors, of whites, of pinstripes, of grays. Today, this year, the Republicans mixing it up a little bit, perhaps to try to inject some new life and energy into the series. Everybody in matching red jerseys, so it'll be a little easier to delineate from their
identify in theory. Kind of, well, the WTOP softball, we have uniforms. Previously, we did not. I think one time I wore mismatched socks and was told to change in my car when I did not have them. High above the third base side here at Nationals Park, the 58th annual Congressional Baseball Game. Dave Preston with Mitchell Miller and Noah Frank. Thanks for joining us this evening on WTOP.com, where we're streaming also on C-SPAN. Ceremonial first pitch, Josh Norman. Bunch of youngsters out there. Redskins cornerback. Before this was a Redskins town, this was a football town. 1924 World Series winners. They kept cool with Coolidge, and the Senators won a World Series that year.
We mentioned we saw Jason Worth milling around pregame down on the field. He will show up from time to time around here. I don't know if he's officially part of any of the pregame festivities, though he might have thrown a slightly more accurate first pitch than Josh Norman just did.
One hopper.
Much better than, did you, a couple weeks ago, they honored the Employee of the Month for the White Sox by letting her throw the first pitch. And the guy who was there to take the picture, she actually hit him on the camera.
If this photographer had been on the wrong side of the first baseline, he might have been in trouble tonight.
You know, I saw Josh jokingly shake off the signal. Maybe he should have gone with that first one.
I think so, perhaps. Key thing with the White Sox employee, they won. They won't probably be named Employee of the Month after beating the photographer, too. The photographer got the picture, so even under deadline pressure, they were still able to get it done.
We mourn his passing, but cherish our memories of him, and we thanked him for all he did to help to make this event into what it's become today. Since 1994, Tim was a constant in the Republican dugout, and his love of the game inspired us all, Democrats and Republicans alike. Serving as coach during Rep. Mike Oxley's tenure as manager, Tim helped guide the team to multiple victories, drawing from his intimate knowledge of the game and his tactics. Under manager Joe Barton, Tim used his wealth of player statistics that he accumulated over the years to provide critical advice on player rosters and batting lineups. As the Congressional Baseball Game outgrew its minor league stadium, we graduated to the big league. The organization that supports the game needed to grow as well. Tim's vast knowledge of the game's traditions and of the local charities this event supports played a key role in the creation of the Congressional Sports for Charity Board of Directors. Tim was a founding member of the Board of Directors and helped to grow the organization into an event that brought together over 20,000 fans last year and raised over $1 million. This year, tonight, through your generosity, we will raise $1.3 million. Standing here with me tonight are the Board of Directors of the Congressional Sports for Charity. We miss our coach, we miss our colleague. Most of all, we miss our friend, Tim Johnson. The spirit of the Congressional Baseball Game is the same tonight as it's been for over 100 years. Still, for many of us, something is missing. The game is not the same without Tim. We miss you, Tim.
Tonight, to honor Tim Johnson, Congressional Sports for Charity, and to especially thank him for his years of service as a member of the congressional staff, his love of the game, and the countless hours that he gave to the Congressional Baseball Game. We tonight are announcing the Tim Johnson Memorial Scholarship. Thank you for all the generosity and for coming tonight.
This game, and a former colleague, a friend to a lot of these men and women, and a family member. When you're in Congress, you're basically living, breathing, eating with these people when you're not at home or making trips to your home district.
And as you both know, this is where a lot of relationships are really formed with a lot of these lawmakers. And in this political day and age, quite frankly, those days of lots of lawmakers from the Democratic and Republican side getting together and having dinner and doing informal things together, those really don't happen that often anymore. So this really is a special event because it is one of the rare moments in Washington where both sides do come together, and it's not just words. They actually enjoy themselves, and then they bond with each other a little bit less maybe across the aisle, but definitely with members of their own party. And it's just nice to see in a day and an age when, frankly, there's so much partisanship here in Washington to see something like this.
And for those of you wondering when first pitch is going to be, it's a little loose. We don't exactly know. That's how this event works. There's lots of pomp and circumstance. The Democrats have taken the field a good 5-10 minutes ago. They're just kind of waiting around for all of this to happen. So it'll be soon. We're getting there, and we'll have baseball for you shortly.
Glad you're aboard with us this evening as we're streaming on WTOP.com. We're also on C-SPAN tonight as the Democrats take on the Republicans. The 58th annual Congressional Baseball Game. You were in the notes. For a while, it wasn't the Democrats against the Republicans. It was the elected officials against the members of the press.
Well, and that's what the Congressional Softball Game is now. It's members coming together playing on the same team against the D.C. Specifically the Washington press corps that covers them on the Hill. So creating that sort of rapport. Obviously, there's enough participants in this game. It's these are not restricted rosters. We've got, I think we were talking about it before, 50 or 60 some odd representatives between both dugouts filling this game out. You're going to see a lot of substitution. See a lot of people coming in and out of the game as it goes. As they try to get everybody at least some playing time.
Congressional Softball Game, the charity involved there is it supports breast cancer research. Charity supported by the Congressional Baseball Game, the Washington Literacy Center, Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington, also the Washington Nationals Dream Foundation, among other charities. Last year's game raised over $1.5 million for local charities, gentlemen.
And I've been told we're up over $1 million already this year. We'll wait for the final totals. Obviously, as people come in, late, people are coming after work, and every ticket is that much more money that gets raised. So we won't have a final total on that probably till tomorrow, but it's really filled up nicely here in the lower bowl, pretty much almost foul pole to foul pole, and there's still plenty of people streaming in through the center field gates.
Again, warming up on the mound, dressed in LSU purple, Cedric Richmond, 7-0 with an ERA just over 2. 8 starts. The one time he was not able to go the distance, the Republicans wound up winning 9-8.
And I just want a point of clarification for the statistically minded among you.
Oh, yes.
The 2.20 ERA is based on a 7-inning game because we play 7-inning baseball here. If you stretch that over for a 9-inning game, it would not be quite the same numbers. It would reflect a little higher, but it gives you an idea of just how good he has been.
Steve Scalise will bat leadoff for the Republicans, wearing number 1.
The heart and soul of this GOP team.
And honestly, it's impressive for him just to be able to be out here. He is clearly not back to his former self, but he's committed to at least playing in this game as much as he can.
First pitch taken for a strike. Steve Scalise, Republican 1st District, Louisiana. The second baseman. 1-1 as the second pitch is a ball. A 1-1 pitch, a called strike. One-two pitch, a little high, 2-2 the count. Louisiana pitcher, Louisiana batter. Next pitch, little high. Pitch fouled. Courtesy runner making the run all the way to first. It's an error, but he ran through the bag, so he'll be at first.
It was a swinging strike 3, but the courtesy runner beat it as the ball got away from the catcher. By the way, first pitch, 728, 89 degrees. It is not your standard swampy 89 degrees. It's actually fairly dry for DC standards, but a warm night at Nats Park.
As they say, it's a dry heat. It's still a heat nonetheless. There's a steal attempt on second, and he's in safe.
And you can see Cedric Richmond was kind of lollipopping that first at bat. He's back to his normal self and throwing full speed here to Kevin Brady.
The 1-0 pitch to Brady, swing and a miss. Brady from the 8th Congressional District in Texas. Another Lone Star State. His picture that they show on the scoreboard, he's got the old Colt 45 from back when before the Astrodome.
That's right.
Houston's original name. Two and one the count after a ball on the 1-1 pitch. The pitch is taken for a ball now. 3-1 the count.
This is always the tough part. You only pitch one game a year.
Exactly.
Is trying to find your arm slot, trying to find your landing pad, trying to make sure that everything's working for you.
3-1 pitch fouled. Backing out of play. And it's not like they can send you down to AAA Baton Rouge for the parish playoffs down there.
That's right. You can't do that.
The 3-2 swung, fouled, back, and out of play.
And this has been a good battle between Richmond and Brady, not just in this at bat, but over the last few years. We've been doing this game for 6 years now, and this is really the premier matchup on this side of the ball.
Right-handed pitcher, right-handed batter, runner on second, nobody out. The 3-2 offering from Richmond. Swinging, chop grounder foul. So they'll reset. A marathon between these two in the early going.
You can see he's going to some off-speed pitches, doing what he can, even in a 3-2 count to get him out. Brady, for his career in this game, hitting .400 with a .516 on-base percentage, a couple of doubles.
Courtesy runner for Scalise on second. The 3-2 pitch taken for a ball. Runners on first and second with nobody out here in the early going. Anthony Gonzalez from the 16th District in the state of Ohio, taking his spot in the batter's box, right-handed hitter.
Another stellar athlete for the Republican side.
Number 11 on his back. Nobody out here in the top of the first inning. No score between the Republicans and the Democrats. Republicans have runners on first and second, threatening here in the early going.
We mentioned Colin Allred, a former NFL player. Anthony Gonzalez, a former NFL player, is a wide receiver for the Colts, if that name rings a bell for you.
Not the Tony Gonzalez, but still a guy who collected an NFL paycheck. 2-0 the count.
Played parts of 5 seasons in Indianapolis, so part of the fresh blood contingent here for the Republicans.
2-0 offering, fouled out of play.
Yeah, another freshman that they were really excited to get on the ball club for sure.
I lived in Indiana for 4 years. They used to say that Indiana is part suburb of Chicago, part suburb of Cincinnati. He's from the Cincinnati side. Swinging a grounder through the left side of the infield. Here comes the runner all the way home. Courtesy runner for Scalise will score and put the Republicans out on top 1-0 here in the top of the first. Runners on first and second. After the sharp hit through the wickets to left field.
And I don't know if Richmond was trying to throw a changeup or it just looked like a changeup, but he took advantage of that.
I think it was a hanging curveball that didn't quite do what he was looking for.
Thrown out in time. Greg Stubbe. Fly ball to right center.
Oh.
And it falls for what will be either an error or a hit. And the bases here are loaded here in the top of the first, and the runner is chugging home. Here comes Kevin Brady, all the way from second.
He's actually a pinch runner.
Pinch runner for Brady, right?
You got it.
You can do that when you've served on House Ways and Means for a long time.
I think so.
Well, and you can see, obviously, the power of Greg Stubbe at the bat. He said he was a good hitter in high school. He's going to be pinch run for as well. He did have his knee replaced, so he's not exactly fleet of foot, but still a good athlete.
John Molinar from the state of Michigan, the DH.
And Richmond going all fastballs here. He's stopped messing around with all the off-speed stuff, just trying to get ahead here.
No more lollipops.
Second pitch taken. Actually, the 0-2 offering taken for a ball. 1-2 the count on Molinar. Runners on first and second. Nobody out here in the top of the first. Republicans with a 2-0 lead. Glad you're aboard here on WTOP.com and C-SPAN. Beautiful night for baseball. 89 degrees the game time temperature. Fans are still filing in here on South Capitol Street. 1-2 pitch fouled back and out of play.
Richmond getting ahead, but he hasn't been able to put anybody away yet. Of course, he debuted in this game with a 17 strikeout game.
That's Gibson-esque there, too.
He does not appear to have quite the same stuff that he did back then.
The 1-2 offering high, taken for a ball. 2-2, runners on first and second. Republicans with a 2-0 lead. They lost last year 21-5. This one's hit, grounder right through the middle. Here comes the runner home. 3-0 after a single by Molinar. So Molinar has an RBI. Gonzalez has an RBI. Stubbe has an RBI in the early going, and it's a 3-0 lead.
And Gonzalez showing some wheels from his tight end days at Indianapolis there.
Yeah, I have a feeling you'll see pretty much everybody running on everybody today. I noticed that we do not have Colin Allred in center field, so your suspicions are correct that he has not started this game.
Scoops Miller making it happen. Grounder to short. The double play, but the runner's safe in time at first. Roddy Davis legging that grounder out on the fielder's choice.
Kind of surprised he didn't take the out in front of him at third. It was right there for him. So instead they get the middle runner at second, but really not enough time to turn two there.
That'll come up in the film session tomorrow. Runners at the corners with one out here.
Or next year at least.
Yes.
At least a few weeks before next year's game, right?
Republicans with a 3-0 lead. We have one out here in the top of the first. Barry Loudermilk. State of Georgia, the 11th district.
People will remember from 2 years ago, he was on the field when the shooting occurred that severely injured Steve Scalise. He actually tended to Steve Scalise after the shooting. Interesting about Barry Loudermilk, he has had some very bizarre things happen in that roughly year period of that shooting. Believe it or not, he was actually in a car with his wife, and a bullet hit their car in a totally separate incident. Fortunately, neither of them were injured. Just a bizarre coincidence. He's had a lot of bizarre things happen. Here's a hit.
The count goes to 1-2, and the grounder right back to Richmond. Throws the runner out on at third. But the fielder's choice, we now have runners on first and second, so Gonzalez gets tagged out.
And that's where Cedric Richmond really impacts this game. Just having the baseball awareness. Saw the runner kind of caught in no man's land. Instead of taking the easy out at first, knew he had him picked off. That could be a big run in this game.
Yeah, that was a nice play.
Fielding savvy Mark Walker, who's pitched in the past for the Republicans, playing shortstop this evening. Usually the best players on your team in Little League, they play shortstop or they pitch.
That's right.
He's the number 8. He's the 8th batter of the evening. Takes the first pitch for a ball. Runners at first and second. Republicans with a 3-0 lead here in the top of the first. Second pitch taken for a strike. Paint in the corners, Cedric Richmond. Mark Walker from the 6th District of North Carolina fouls a pitch back into the cage. 2-2 the count with 2 outs. Richmond can get a swing and a miss here. It'd be a huge exit for what could have been a really disastrous inning for the Democrats. This is a grounder to shortstop. The throw to first. It's in time.
Three runs and 3 hits. Pretty good start.
Yeah. 3 runs, 3 hits, a couple left on base. We'll keep it right here. We'll take a break at the bottom of the inning, gentlemen.
Little rough out of the gate for the American League, but they regrouped. Some nice plays, as we mentioned. Cedric Richmond with a nice fundamental play there, down there at third.
Greg Stubbe set to take the mound. And the thing what's interesting is that you mentioned that first day of class, first day the orientation, where immediately they yank him out there. It's akin to the kid who grows a couple of inches over the summer, and he comes back and he's a sophomore, and the basketball coach says, "Who are you?" "I'm Rick." "No, you're not Rick. He was 5'8". "Well, I'm 6'4" now.
Right.
And Stubbe's not a small guy. I mean, you can see him out there if you're watching on TV, at least after you watch the in-inning entertainment with dogs chasing frisbees.
Hey, a dog with a frisbee, that's kind of all you need.
But, yeah, I mean, Stubbe, he clearly looks the part of an athlete. Tall right-handed pitcher. Based on what I saw at practice, pretty good fastball, cutter, and a big curveball, which really, if he can locate that, is probably going to be the difference tonight.
From our vantage point, it looks like he has a knee brace on his right leg.
So he's a veteran, and he was injured serving in Afghanistan, and he had to have his knee replaced. So he's got as he put it, a fake knee. Wears the brace. Just it's on his drive leg, not on his plant leg. But obviously that complicates things in terms of trying to get the most out of your body.
And what's interesting over the years, Mitchell, Congress for years run by the World War II veterans. Gerald Ford was minority leader after serving in the Navy for just one example there. Now the Iraqi war and the Afghanistan war veterans are taking their place in Congress and serving.
Right. There was a period there for a while where there were fewer and fewer members that had served in the military, and of course, in the presidential elections, we found that President Clinton, obviously, someone who had not been in the service, but a lot of these lawmakers, both men and women who have served, have really made an influence in Congress, especially many of these new members on the House side. A lot of them are from centralized districts, if you will, where a Republican had won in the past, or maybe they had had pulled for President Trump, and then some of the more centrist Democrats, Abigail Spanberger from Virginia is one example. But a lot of the veterans really making their mark on Congress now, especially since the start of the year.
Leading off, I believe, is that Chuy Garcia taking his rightful spot in the batter's box. Oh, no, Raul Ruiz, 36th District out of California.
Raul Ruiz is a physician, by the way, and spoke very passionately yesterday on the House floor in connection with border issues related to children. So he's very passionate on that issue.
Republicans with a 3-0 lead. Democrats up for the first time. First pitch taken, it's a ball. Second pitch taken is a ball as well.
And just like with Cedric Richmond, finding a groove, getting used to this mound. As you can do as much practice as you want. No one's ever pitched off this mound until they get out there.
And working quickly in the heat, too. A 2-0 offering. It's a strike.
Not to mention throwing in a major league ballpark, too.
Right. Well, and that was the thing when we talked about a couple of years ago when the Republicans beat Cedric Richmond. he threw a ton of pitches in that game. He was over 100 pitches, and it was one of those sweltering hot days, and it just got to him after a while, and he couldn't put the ball in the strike zone.
The 2-1 offering from Stubbe coming up here. Swing, fouled. The right side of the infield and out of play.
I talked to somebody today who had seen Cedric Richmond speaking with somebody walking the halls of Congress, and they were asking him about his arm. I don't have any intel on that of how it was going, how's the wing, but anyway, they were very interested for sure to see exactly what was going on with him.
Ruiz from the 36th district of the state of California. Can you believe there are 50 districts in that state?
I'm from California,
yes.
And yes, I can believe it.
I remember when I think there was 45, and I thought that was a big deal way back when. 2-2 offerings taken for a ball. Leadoff hitter Raul Ruiz. Last year went 0 for 2 with a walk. Democrats won last year. 21-5. 3-2 pitch hit into the air. To the edge of the infield, and this one's dropped by the shortstop. So reaching via error, Raul Ruiz. You run out the grounders, you run out the pop flies, because you never know what might happen. E6 will call that. Right out of the glove. Adjustments for the pitchers, Richmond and Stubbe. Also adjustments for the infielders, because those who play competitive softball, you're used to a different game.
Right.
Even as much as you practice, it's still something when you put the stirrups on.
It's interesting. They were playing in, too, more than you see a lot of in this game, and he had to kind of make an awkward run back to try to get that one. It didn't work out for him.
California flavor continues with Pete Aguilar.
Yeah, California has stocked the Democratic side pretty well with a lot of players.
31st district in the Golden State. Democrats trail 3-0, and off to the races is Ruiz. Dropped first pitch. It's a strike, but a stolen base. Ruiz with the wheels. We're going to give him the steal there.
Yeah, I mean, the running game, he was running all the way. Running game is a big part of this game. Walks, obviously, a big part of it. Trying to take advantage of the other team when they make mistakes or give you a chance to take an extra base.
Runner on second. Democrats trail 3-0. They're at the plate. Right-handed pitcher, right-handed batter. The 0-1 pitch. Taken. There's a throw to third, and off to the races again. Ruiz back-to-back steals.
And he had that easy. I mean, he was in standing. Yes. So it gives you an idea. I think they might have a sense that Stubbe's maybe a little slow to the plate. Maybe there's not a great arm behind the plate, and probably setting the tone for the rest of the evening.
I wonder if they have scouts. I'm sure there are interns who, yes, you're going to work on some policy, but we're also going to have you chart pitches. Generous lead by Ruiz off third base here. Democrats trying to get the first run, punch out, a called third strike.
And there's that curveball. It got to 0-2, got a chance to use it, and locked up Pete Aguilar for the first out of the inning.
Aguilar strikes out. At the plate now, Cedric Richmond.
As George Kell, the former Detroit Tiger broadcaster, would say, stood there like a house on the side of the road.
Oh, when the curveball curves. One out here in the bottom of the first. Republicans with a 3-0 lead. First pitch taken. In for a strike. Richmond batting third in this lineup with Raul Ruiz hanging on third base. He's closer to the bag than he was when Aguilar was up. He's stolen second and third after reaching via error.
So we've got power on power here, right?
Oh, yes. Righty on righty. Pitch is taken 1-1. As it's a ball. I don't know if we have many switch hitters. I don't know if we have any of those one-inning arms that they do when we come here to see the Nationals play.
You will see the bullpens used sometimes. It'll be interesting to see how far Stubbe can go into this game. I don't know if the intent is for him to pitch the whole thing, but there are certainly other arms down there who've pitched in recent years for the Republicans.
And on the Democratic side, I know that Aguilar, who just struck out moments ago, He has said in the past that he would be willing to pitch maybe an inning or two, nothing too strenuous, though.
At least he didn't say pitching 5 minutes.
Right.
Richmond from the 2nd District of the state of Louisiana pitches and catches for the Democratic team. A 1-1 offering. This one's low. Lost for a second by the catcher. 2-1 the count.
We mentioned Richmond's gaudy hitting statistics. He has also walked plenty of times in this game. They've learned to stop pitching to him directly and try to make him earn it. He's got 9 walks in 33 plate appearances.
Walk is as good as a hit.
Just ask Bryce Harper.
Well, when he was here. 2-1 the count, 3-0 the Republicans lead. The Democrats are threatening here in the bottom of the 1st inning with a runner on 3rd and 1 out.
little gamesmanship.
Yeah.
So Stubbe step back off the rubber, and Richmond step all the way out to the grass.
This would be akin to adding an amendment at the last moment.
That's right,
I think,
exactly.
in committee. Here comes Stubbe with the offering. The 2-1 pitch. This one swung on and hit foul. High behind home plate. The catcher, lost it.
A tough one.
He actually caught it with his chest protector, and then it dropped. He couldn't get a glove on it.
When he didn't see it until the very last second and still almost made a play on it. Tried to squeeze it between his bare arm, as you mentioned, and the chest protector. Just couldn't quite hang on.
Anthony Gonzalez would have made that catch, being a former tight end.
Cedric Richmond still alive here.
Rodney Davis, the catcher, unable to come up with the foul ball right behind home plate. Ruiz taking a lead off 3rd. 2-2 the count. 3-0 the score. The Republicans with the lead here. Ruiz dancing off of 3rd base, and this one's hit solid through the middle, but it's blocked down by the 2nd baseman. Ruiz will score.
And that was a hanging curveball.
Yes.
Richmond was waiting for it.
And that was almost a really nice play by Brady.
Yeah, honestly, even just to get his glove on that was a great play. But no play once it squirted away and into no man's land.
Decent stab by Brady, but Richmond is safe on 1st. And the first run of the night for the Democrats. 3-1. With another right-handed hitter coming up, Jimmy Panetta out of California. 20th District, plays in the outfield. Does not announce himself in the 3rd person like Jimmy from Seinfeld. But if Jimmy gets a hit, we're definitely going to say Jimmy gets a hit.
Absolutely.
1 out here in the 1st, and Richmond's off to 2nd base, taking advantage of the arm of Rodney Davis. Stolen base.
Don't be surprised if he does the very same thing on his way to 3rd on the next pitch.
First pitch taken for a ball.
And, of course, the name very familiar to a lot of people, Jimmy Panetta, the son of Leon Panetta, former CIA director, among many other jobs he's had.
The 1-0 pitch is taken, and a throw to 3rd, not in time. Ball was taken for a strike.
That is, by our count, Richmond's 9th stolen base in the Congressional Baseball Game.
Do we call him Wheels Richmond? I mean, don't know if the suicide squeeze is on. We're right behind the Democratic dugout, so we can't see any signals or signs.
And I've been unable to steal any.
1-1 the count on Panetta. Swing and a miss. 20th District out of California.
They trusted him to get a bunt down. You could do it with 2 strikes here. There's enough leeway at 3rd base.
1-2 the count. Runner on 3rd, 1 out. Bottom of the 1st. Republicans with a 3-1 lead. Stubbe on the mound. The pitch. Swing and a miss. That's a pair of strikeouts in this 1st inning for Stubbe. And still hanging around on 3rd base is Cedric Richmond.
And that's that curveball again. You can see that it's probably going to take one time through the lineup to figure out what that thing looks like. Cedric Richmond had it figured out, but
or 2 times through the lineup for some of the guys who aren't used to seeing the pitch. And Colin Allred.
We didn't see Allred in the outfield, but he is batting.
But he is hitting.
Had a chance to hear from him in our pregame show. And we heard from the Dallas Morning News, and there's a wild pitch. Here comes Richmond. He's going to score. This game just got a little tighter, my friends. Wild pitch scores the run. It's now 3-2 here.
And I think I can safely say this now that the game started. Colin Allred had talked about how he could hit anybody's fastball, but the reason he stopped playing baseball was he wasn't so great at hitting breaking balls. Of course, he gets a first pitch curveball, but it goes to the backstop. It allows Richmond to come home and score from third.
2 outs here. The first pitch, a ball. So the 1-0 offering with the bases empty here in the bottom of the first, and the Democrats trailing 3-2. Second pitch taken. This one's a ball as well.
But as you know, Noah, speaking to him up close, this guy is all athlete. Boy, is he a figure of muscle, right?
I'm really interested to see if they throw him a fastball at any point today, or if it's just all curveballs until he can prove that he can hit one.
3 hits in the top of the first for the Republicans, 1 hit here in the bottom of the first for the Democrats.
Way ahead of that.
Hoo-hoo. Not ideal. 2-1 the count.
Grew up a Rangers fan, right?
Yep. Huge baseball fan. He said he was the kind of guy who would know every roster all the way down to the AA level. Him and his brother talking about the prospects coming up.
32nd district out of the Lone Star State.
And while he's an outfielder, I understand also that, not surprisingly, being from Texas, one of his favorite players was Nolan Ryan. I believe he actually at one point had Nolan Ryan's number in one of the iterations of when he played.
Yeah, I think pretty much all the way through he wore 34 for that reason.
2-1 pitch taken for a ball. Thank goodness. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Swing and a miss, 3-2.
Despite giving up 2 runs, Stubbe has a chance actually to strike out the side.
Should be an impressive in and of itself. It's a good thing he didn't take 23 being headlocked by 34. Little Ventura there.
All right.
Bases are empty here in the bottom of the first. The Democrats have already scored twice. This one's swinging. This one's hit.
He launched it
deep to left field. Unable to make the catch.
Over the left
and he's going to get 2 bases. Runs to first and then lumbers into second.
And a fully healthy Colin Allred is rounding third, thinking about home plate.
Right.
You can tell that he's definitely well under 100%, but good enough to trot into second base with the stand-up double.
And now gets the pinch run.
Yes, the necessary pinch run.
Well earned.
Yes. Well, he got quite a bit of meat on that ball.
He really did.
Tom Malinowski from the state of New Jersey, infielder. Steps to the plate, right-handed hitter.
Another freshman, longtime baseball fan. Interesting thing about him, he grew up in communist Poland, which basically caused him to be very interested over the years in foreign policy issues. He served in the National Security Council under former President Clinton, and he has been very active in foreign affairs issues. But well beyond the foreign issues, he just likes being on a baseball diamond.
First pitch taken for a ball. If he grew up in Germany, he'd be a big Hasselhoff fan. I hear he's big over there.
That's right.
1-0 offering fouled back.
Well, anybody who's named Mitch, you've got to have a little bit of a following, right?
I would think so. We're here for 7 innings, ladies and gentlemen, on WTOP.com and C-SPAN. Glad you're aboard here on what has become a beautiful summer evening. Awesome night for baseball. There have been rainouts in the past, and they've had to move venues. A 1-1 fouled back.
Right, I think, didn't they one year they played at a high school in Northern Virginia, I believe.
Yeah, there were consecutive rainouts.
Right.
they tried to reschedule, didn't work. They had to reschedule again. Ended up at Langley High School back in 1977. You play this game long enough, you're going to have some weird oddities in the record books.
Runner on second, 2 outs. Democrats trail 3-2. The 1-2 pitch taken for a ball. Stubbe on the hill.
The game's been at Nats Park since 2008.
Before that, RFK, I assume.
Yep.
And before that, DC Stadium way back when.
Yeah, Griffith Stadium. It's seen a lot of different homes over the years.
Runner on second with 2 outs. The 2-2 pitch by Stubbe. This one's swung and hit into right field. This is going to fall for a hit. Home comes a run. Into second, chugs Malinowski. So the pinch runner scores.
Tie game.
Tied at 3 here in the bottom of the first. RBI for Malinowski. The RBI double.
And we talked about the infield playing more in than we've seen it in years past. The outfield was playing a bit in there, and that's the second batter in a row that's put one right over their heads.
Yep.
You might want to move back just a tiny bit when some of these guys are up.
Yep,
and then there's that one kid in Little League who's just standing all the way back at the fence or in a tree. I was not that. Yeah, actually, I was that kid from time to time. But I wasn't the kid who rode a motorcycle in the outfield, a pantomime bike. That was Jay Jameson.
Well, Malinowski showing some pop there, a little bit different stature than Allred. I mean, Allred, you can see, if he gets a hold of one, he's going to knock one as far as he did in left field. But a nice going to right shot there by Malinowski.
Dean Phillips out of Minnesota is next up for the Democrats. 7th batter of the inning. Malinowski straying off second. Stubbe jumps off the mound.
Well, they're not really holding him now. Brady's trying to shade over a little bit and keep him close, but they've made no effort to hold the runners, and it's cost him some bases. And right now it's a tie game again.
Infield drills not part of the workout, and there's the runner goes to third, and he's in cleanly off the pitch.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be the game plan. They're going to make him pay for slow deliveries and below average arm behind the plate.
So if you're a fan of the St. Louis Cardinals back in the mid-'80s, with Willie McGee, Terry Pendleton, all those guys, you will be at home this evening.
Yes.
The 0-1 pitch to Phillips, taken. 1-1 the count. Tie game here in the bottom of the first inning, 3-3, 2 outs. Runner on third. Phillips at the plate. Stubbe on the mound, righty against righty. Republicans scored 3 times in the top, and there's a swing and a miss. 1-2. Pair of errors for the Republicans so far tonight in the field. 2 left on base in the top of the inning.
They made 5 last year, and it's a big part of some of the big innings that unraveled on them.
Phillips doesn't take it. Now he's taking a big lead off. The 1-2 pitch taken for a ball. Phillips from the 3rd district of Minnesota. Of course, when you talk about Minnesota and Democrats, a lot of nationally known representatives from that state over the years, from Walter Mondale to Hubert Humphrey. Swing and a miss, and that ends the inning. 3 strikeouts.
Strikes
for
out the
Stubbe,
side.
yes. But in the middle, he allows 3 runs. And we're tied at 3 after 1 inning of play. This is the 58th annual Congressional Baseball Game on WTOP.com and C-SPAN.
Side effects from treatments like chemotherapy.
side with Noah Frank and Mitchell Miller. A long first inning, both teams with scoring opportunities, both teams capitalizing, and that's how we're tied at 3.
And, when I used to work in the minors, there was a pitcher on one of my teams, and this is in a very hot environment in Central California. He talked about you got to get the sweat going. You got to let your body break the sweat so you can get into the game. You can't fight it. And I can't speak for you guys, but I'm sweating pretty good up here. I'm sure they're sweating pretty good down on the field by now, too.
We're not going to invoke a former California congressman, Richard Nixon, but maybe, gosh, I hope the camera's not on. Did I use lazy shave today? I hope.
I don't think it's the harsh lights because really the lights, while they're on, they're pretty far away at this point. It's interesting, though, but that was kind of a mirror image on both sides of the inning, as Noah was saying. Kind of a rough start for both pitchers, understandable given the circumstances. And then both teams kind of settled in, both offensively and defensively.
Warren Davidson from the 8th District of Ohio, outfielder, is up to lead off the second inning for the Republicans. This one's hit through the middle. Nice solid hit. He's aboard to get things going. The Republicans got off to a strong start in the first inning. Their first 2 runners in the lineup scored to give them an early 2-0 lead. Cedric Richmond settled in, got things done, but a rough second inning start for Richmond.
I don't ever remember them hitting him this well. This is the best contact I've seen. Obviously, it's still early, but he's going to have to make the adjustment here and see if he can pitch more corner to corner or get his breaking stuff to get in the strike zone. Because this is, we've seen a lot of balls hit pretty hard so far.
Brad Wenstrup is up and the runner goes. Throw to second base, not in time. Actually, it was in time. It just went off the chest of the second baseman. The infielders gather up. Ruiz taking the ball off of his chest, unable to corral the throw. Now a pinch runner.
Pinch runner for the pinch runner?
Yes.
They'd have had him at second if that had been a better throw.
I think so. Stolen base there for the Republicans. Wenstrup is up for the Republicans.
Another
3-0 the count.
We were talking about military veterans. Wenstrup, another military veteran, served in Iraq.
First 3 offerings of ball. The 3-0 pitch taken for a strike. I don't know if the Republicans had a no swinging at 3-0 pitches rules that they mentioned in meetings today, but the 3-1 pitch is taken for a strike as well. 3-2 with a runner on second, tied at 3 here. Top of the second inning. Democrats have 3 hits. The Republicans have 4. 3-2 pitch fouled back and out of play. Richmond gets the signs. Looks back, the runner on second. The 3-2 pitch is taken and he rings him up. A called third strike. And Wenstrup sits down.
That looks more like the Cedric Richmond of old.
First strikeout of the night for Richmond. Kevin Brady walked in the first inning. His pinch runner scored a run.
That's a big out with this.
Yes.
This is clearly going to be the meat of the order. This sort of 2-3-4 for the Republicans with Brady, Gonzalez, and Stubbe.
First pitch taken for a ball. Second pitch taken for a strike.
2 curveballs to start Brady. He's reached into the full bag of tricks here.
A 1-1 pitch is taken. Just a bit on the inside corner. 2-1 the count with a runner on second.
Richmond dug back a little deeper on that one, too.
Slight lead off second. The 2-1 offering. And there goes the runner to third base. The throw is in time. He's out. That's how you slow down the running game. Pinch runner is thrown out at third.
Ball was
that's a huge out, too, because with the way things have been going, any ball hit anywhere could drop for a hit. So instead, nobody's on base right now.
Yeah, and that ball was dropped by the catcher, but a misread by the base runner thinking it had squirted away, and it really hadn't gone anywhere. Kind of kind of got caught up in a hitch between second and third and was thrown out pretty easily.
3-1 pitch taken for a ball. So Brady has walked twice in 2 plate appearances. Gonzalez up with a runner on first. 2 down here. And a tie ball game at 3. Right-handed pitcher, right-handed batter. Gonzalez takes the first offering inside. Republicans have left 2 on base. Democrats have left 1. We're early here. Second inning. This one's hit strong to left field. In to make the catch. Doesn't make it. Ball drops for a hit and in with a double. Gonzalez showing a little, actually, runners on first and second as the courtesy runner moves.
That was Hakeem Jeffries. Went into a slide maybe a step before he should have, and just couldn't keep himself square to the baseball.
So just like that, runners on first and second. Greg Stubbe, the pitcher. RBI in the first inning.
That was another example of a meaty hit to left by a former pro athlete.
That might be a theme this evening. First pitch fouled back. 0-1 the count, runners on first and second. Richmond delivers. Taken for a strike.
First pitch curveball, second pitch fastball, trying to keep him off balance here. Saw how hard Stubbe hit the ball his first time up.
Stubbe trying to keep the inning alive here. The 0-2 pitch, taken for a ball. 1-2 the count, runners on first and second here in the top of the second inning. Each team scored 3 times in the first. This one bounces just in front of home plate. And just like that, the count's even up at 2-2. Tied at 3. Republicans have 5 hits on the night. They've left 2 on base. Gotten a bunch of walks as well. Richmond looks in. Fires. This one's a little high. 3-2 the count. Richmond's thrown plenty of pitches these first 2 innings.
That's going to be a story for both of these guys. Matched up right now and matched up on as opposing arms here.
The 3-2 pitch is taken for a ball and a walk. So after jumping out in front 0-2, the bases are now loaded as Stubbe takes his spot on first. John Molinar.
Molinar might be the key batter here because you can see Richmond's trying to pitch around, this sort of core of the lineup.
Right.
If Molinar can make him pay, he had the RBI single his last time.
Molinar had a single to center field in the first inning. Drove in a run. Takes the first pitch for a strike. Tied at 3 here, top of the second. Decent lead off a third. Second pitch taken for a ball. Molinar, the designated hitter, 4th district from the state of Michigan. Looks like his picture looks like he's wearing a Central Michigan Chippewas hat.
He is indeed.
From Mount Pleasant, Michigan, or as the guy who used to do Ball State basketball way back when used to call it Mount Unpleasant because you'd always have to go up in the middle of winter and come back. One time, the beat reporter was driving back, swing and a miss. 2-2 the count. Beat reporter for the Muncie Star-Press was driving back and was actually snow swept off of I-69.
Ouch.
That was the year that the Cardinals went 0-9 on the road in the Mid-American Conference.
As someone who's originally from the state of Michigan, that is a pretty desolate drive from Lansing to Mount Pleasant.
And the wind hits you from Montana, too.
Right.
Swing and fouled back, 2-2 the count on Molinar now.
It doesn't feel like Lake Michigan is really that far west, but that wind really whips off.
Other islands and bays are for sportsmen. Richmond with the 2-2. This one's taken. It's in there for a ball, 3-2.
Full count, bases loaded.
This is what you play for. Tie game at 3. 2 outs here in the top of the second inning. Dave Preston on the third baseline with Noah Frank and Mitchell Miller. This one swung on and hit into the infield gap, and the throw to first from short. It's in time.
Wow.
Score that one 6-3 in the top of the inning. Unfortunately, the Republicans are unable to retake the lead, despite having plenty of activity on the bases. Stubbe with a hit, Gonzalez with a hit, Davidson with a hit. But they wind up leaving plenty of people unhappy on the bases.
That's 5 through 2 innings, I believe, which is something that could certainly come back to hurt them.
Having watched the Nationals early and often this year, they've gotten better, but early on, they would leave a lot of people out there.
Can be painful.
So the bases are used to it, as this is their home ballpark. They've been playing really well as of late, too.
By the way, I believe that was Gil Cisneros who made that play. Interesting bit of trivia related to him is before he came to Congress, he won the lottery. And he won.
Like metaphorically, he won the lottery, or literally, he won the lottery.
He literally won the lottery. $266 million, became a philanthropist, decided to donate his money to various causes that he enjoys, and then got elected to Congress. So a lot of different ways that you can get to Congress.
You can't win if you don't play. And unfortunately, I don't play, and so I don't win.
And you can't win if you don't run politically.
Exactly. 3-3 is our score here, midway through the second inning. Republicans in the red jerseys, white uniforms. Democrats in a smattering of uniforms, as we mentioned. Noah honoring a lot of their home districts this evening.
We don't have binoculars up here, but you can see that the Republicans are all wearing different hats. I think that's how they're going about their home district representation.
And that's
today.
fine. Yeah, a little bit of individuality there.
In the American League, you've got everybody from Dodgers uniforms to players that are wearing their old high school uniform. It's really an interesting potpourri of different colors and uniforms.
Democrats sent 7 men to the plate in the first inning. Bottom of the second about to get underway. Looking at the, that can't be a Detroit Titans.
I believe that's a Cal State Fullerton Titans.
Because Detroit Mercy, they're the Titans as well.
That's right.
I don't know if they have a decent baseball program or not.
Fullerton does.
Yeah. They make the NCAA tournament from time to time, hoop-wise.
Well, fresh off of helping to make that put-out, the aforementioned Gil Cisneros, congressman and lottery winner.
Now, isn't there something when after somebody makes a really good play defensively, they come out, they lead off, and they hit a huge home run? Isn't that isn't that baseball karma right there,
That
gentlemen?
is baseball karma. Now, we'll see if Cisneros can make good on that.
And is this our first left-handed hitter
I was
of the
just
night?
about to say, I think this is our first lefty.
It is.
Righty on lefty, playing the percentages. Infielder from the 39th District of California. The first pitch is taken for a ball.
And I'll just point out again, especially the left side of the infield, shortstop is on the infield grass. Interesting alignment, maybe trying to cut down some of the infield hits, or I'm not exactly sure what the philosophy is here for the Republicans on defense.
And the outfield is straight away but in. It's not exactly the short fielder that you see in softball, but it's kind of close. 1-0 pitch taken for a strike.
Maybe it's that intense scouting. Each team they know where Cisneros' tendency is.
Listen, if they can get spray charts on the hitters, then more power to them.
Stubbe struck out 3 in the first inning. The 1-1 offering.
Well, as you know,
Taken
Noah,
for a strike.
the website 538 has actually broken down all the facts and figures. If you want to see the whip or WAR or whatever you want for all of these players, they have actually calculated it.
That is the dream. The 1-2 pitch. This one's hit. A blooper just past the shortstop, who's playing in.
What did Noah just say?
Oh, Cisneros hit him where they ain't.
I just noticed it because they happen to be playing in. Seems like it cuts down your ability to make routine plays. And sure enough, he bloops it right over the shortstop, right to basically your normal positioning.
If he'd be standing, he would just maybe take a step in. Instead, we have a runner on first in the bottom of the second, Chris Murphy.
If I were older, I'd make a reference to Wee Willie Keeler, but I won't.
Oh. Chris Murphy, the catcher. Up for the first time. Runner goes to second. Cisneros is in with the steal. So plenty of small ball this evening, plenty of situational hitting as well.
Looks like it was a pinch runner, but you can see that the Democrats, clearly this is the game plan. Get on base, and then you use the stolen base to your advantage to move your way around.
Pinch runner on second, taking a decent lead. Want to know the count on Murphy. Stubbe has 3 strikeouts so far this evening. Righty on righty here. Cisneros, the only left-handed batter we've seen this evening. Pitch is fouled on the third base side on the ground. Murphy from the state of Connecticut, the senator, one of a smattering of senators in action this evening.
Right.
Primarily it's the congressional game. I would say 90 to 95% of those who participate over the years have been congressmen or representatives, as Faye would have.
Senator Murphy, you have Senator Rand Paul, but generally it's mainly members of Congress. Of course, Congress, you've got 435 members to choose from. Senate a little more select with 100 members.
You can also be just 26 and be in Congress. Not saying that these are all 26-year-olds, but they're not all 50, 60, and 70-year-olds.
Very good point.
1-1 the count. Nobody out with a runner on second. Pitch taken for a strike.
Alexandria Ross-Leighton, at the age of 29, became the youngest woman ever elected to Congress.
I remember reading the USA Today way back, or no, it was U.S. News and World Report, and they'd have tracking the new Congress, and I just remember the year that Claude Pepper was still running around. I was like, really, that guy is still running, and how is that happening? He was in his 80s at the time.
Longtime Florida congressman. Quite a legendary character.
Tied at 3 here, bottom of the second inning. Pinch runner on second after the stolen base. 1-2 the count. And Chris Murphy up for the first time this evening. Takes a high ball, throw to third, not in time. Ball is dropped by the third baseman, but the runner will not go.
You can see a little cat and mouse game with Kevin Brady coming over to cover, but he left pretty early and allowed him to get a pretty good lead.
Pinch runner wearing a UC Santa Barbara jersey.
I wish.
The Gauchos.
I wish it was, because that's my alma mater, but it's actually UC San Diego jersey.
Oh gosh.
I would have called it out.
Love those Gauchos. 2-2 the count on Chris Murphy with a runner on third. Nobody out here. In the bottom of the second, pitch is fouled back. Republicans have left 5 on base this evening. Democrats just 1. It's their second time up.
I've not been counting pitches, but that was a heavy workload first inning, and really making Stubbe work in each batter.
Generous lead taken on third, fouled back. Nobody out. The Senator Murphy from Connecticut.
Stubbe might have got away with one there. That was a little high cheese.
Infield is playing in. Outfield straight away. Number 8 on Murphy's back. A 2-2 pitch. This one's hit foul ball to the third base side and into the seats. So not many foul balls have been in play this evening. They've usually been right back to the seats or into the webbing.
A lot of souvenirs.
Yes.
Seems like they're sitting back on that curveball. That's we're seeing more of those. They're not quite squaring them up, but at least they're not whiffing on them like they were in the first time.
Plenty of vendors giving away souvenirs. I wound up with a C-SPAN hat.
That's right.
Which we're on right now, along with federalnewsradio.com.
Very happy to receive that.
Pitch is taken outside for a ball. Also streaming on WTOP.com. Interesting article today, a preview of the game on the sports page. Last week, Noe had a preview up about the Congressional Softball Game, the charity that it's been representing for almost 2 decades now. The 3-2 offering is hit right in front of the right fielder. He doesn't have the arm to bring it home. And here comes the lead run for the Democrats.
And now it's interesting. The runner held it at third to see if it was going to drop. Got a late break. Ball gets cut off at first, and I don't think it was that Molinar at first. Whoever does it first did not see that he was maybe only halfway down the line. Probably had to play at the plate if he turned around and made the throw.
No Dave Parker out there in right field tonight. Or we saw Jason Worth earlier this evening.
That's right, the former Nat.
He could make plays way back
making the rounds in the dugouts.
Jared Huffman is now up.
Another
for
California.
the Democrats. Second district. First pitch is hit right in front of the left fielder. All of a sudden, Democrats are in business again with a 4-3 lead. Runners on first and second.
Still nobody out.
And that was one of the more crisp singles that we've seen in this game.
And that's just the second left-hander we've seen this evening. Cisneros and now Huffman, both reaching here in the second inning. Runners on first and second. Paul Ruiz.
I believe he had a hit last time.
First pitch a strike. Democrats with a 4-3 lead here in the second inning. Ruiz at bat. Pitch bounces right in front of home plate. Runners go. Second and third now.
He still
and
doesn't see
can't catch it. Still can't find the.
Well, the ball went straight, even straight through Davis and hit the umpire. So he didn't feel it. So he turned around looking for it to be at the backstop, and it was sitting right behind home plate.
It was right on the white line that designates the batter's box. So it kind of blended in there for a second too. The pinch runner Swazi with a lead off a third. Ruiz representing the 36th district, right-handed batter.
Well, when you have 50 districts in California, there's probably a good chance you're going to have a lot of Californians in the lineup, whether it's Democrat or Republican.
6 hits tonight for the Democrats, 5 for the Republicans. A big difference left on base. 5 for the Republicans, just 1 for the Democrats. We're in the bottom of the second. Pitch is taken for a ball. 2-1 the count now with Ruiz up. The 2-1 offering is taken for a strike. Runners on second and third.
As we were saying earlier, I think the pitch count for both of these guys is really going to be pretty high. We're only in the third inning here, and
eventually it's going to get to 435.
right.
The 2-2 offering fouled just to the side of the third baseline. No play made. No play was there. 2-2 the count on Ruiz.
Yeah, I think if Strasburg were on the mound right now, there'd be a little nervousness in the Nats dugout for either of these teams.
Swazi the lead off a third. Runners on second and third with nobody out here in the bottom of the second. Democrats scored 21 runs last season. Pitch is taken for a ball.
They're on pace so far. They get 3 every inning.
Right.
Again, it's a 5th inning stretch from Big and Rich. 3-2 offering is popped to the infield. Catch made by the shortstop. That time he wasn't in too close. No, and he had plenty of time to get back.
Played actually back on the dirt.
And that's a big out for them to get. This would be a big out for them to get if they can get Aguilar. Yes. Might allow them to pitch around Cedric Richmond with 2 outs and a base open at first, and not have to face him in a big RBI spot.
And Aguilar can be a dangerous hitter as well.
Aguilar struck out looking in the first inning. Democrats with a 4-3 lead. 1 out here in the bottom of the second. First offering's taken for a ball.
To your point, Mitch, coming into tonight, Aguilar hitting .556 in this game. That's .692 on base percentage.
Do we have OPS?
5 for 13. I do. Well, I mean, you can add it up yourself.
Okay.
He's got a .778 slugging percentage, so it's a 1,400 plus OPS.
Don't even want to know what the OPS plus is there. Pitch taken for a strike.
Yeah, I mean, 5 hits and 13 at bats, couple of doubles, 4 RBI, 4 walks. He's also got 5 stolen bases, so if he can get on, he's another guy who can be a problem on the base paths.
Democrats lead 4-3 now, bottom of the second. 1-1 the count, and this is a
Tough
grounder
play.
hit right between the legs of the third baseman.
Wow.
1 run comes home. Second run coming around, lumbering all the way into home plate. Is the throw in time? Oh, a collision at the plate, and he gets there. Oh, he's safe. How do you like them apples?
I don't know what the rules are in this game about blocking home plate. But
Yes.
Rodney Davis was doing everything in his power, other than catching the ball, to keep the runner from scoring.
Well, that was a little old school blocking the plate.
It
as
was.
Fate would have.
It wasn't exactly Pete Rose coming in head first. It was more like they just bucked into each other at chest level.
And on the throw, Aguilar goes all the way to third, and so there will be a base, actually 2 bases open for Cedric
Yes.
Richmond, but not nearly the scenario that Greg Stubbe was probably hoping for.
Richmond in the first inning, infield single, drove in a run, scored a run, stole a base as well. Runner on third.
We'll see if Stubbe actually gives Richmond anything to hit. That one clearly was not, landing about 1.5 feet in front of the plate.
The freshman, Stubbe, in his first Congressional Baseball Game, facing a guy who's made his name in this early summer classic, 7-0. Richmond has been since he entered Congress. The 1-0 offering taken high for a ball. He's also been productive at the plate, too. 6-3 is our score. Bottom of the second inning. Just 1 out. Stubbe with the brace on his right leg. The pitch fouled back. 2-1 the count.
Now, one thing I'm interested in, I'm not sure how liberal the substitution policies are, but
I'm sure it's generous. I'm sure it's hockey, yes.
Well, but I mean, if Stubbe is going to come out of the game
Right.
as a pitcher, does that remove him from the lineup? Because he is
good
one
point.
of their key bats, and
Right.
you're going to need him in the middle of that lineup.
You could do the double switch.
It's true.
Has there ever been a triple switch? I don't want to know. 2-1 the count on Richmond.
I'll go back into the archives and check on
Yeah.
that one tomorrow.
Yes. Pitch taken for a ball. 3-1 now. Richmond with a chance to pad what is now a 6-3 lead. Republicans jumped out to a 3-0 advantage in the first inning. Democrats knotted things up in the bottom of the frame. This pitch is popped up just to the left side of the infield and fouled out of play. Caroomed off one of the seats.
Nice grab there.
About
by
seventh
that
row,
fan.
and then it bounced up. It took what was called a Packer bounce back in the day.
It's the second time Richmond's fouled one at the plate. Lucky that Davis dropped the first one, and lucky that one got out of play.
His swing has been kind of a tomahawk swing the last couple.
They count 3-2 with a runner on third. Generous lead. Stubbe strikes him out.
Strikes out Richmond.
4th strikeout of the evening for Stubbe. 3 of them have come via the swing. Sat down Aguilar looking in the first. Jimmy Panetta checks into the batter's box. Runner on third. Now 2 down. 6-3 advantage for the Democrats. They've scored 3 runs in each of the first 2 innings here at Nationals Park. First pitch taken for a ball. Glad you're aboard this evening on WTOP.com, FederalNewsRadio.com, and C-SPAN. Beautiful night for baseball here on South Capitol Street. Connected out of the state of California. A 1-0 offering. Fouled high towards the Republican dugout, and Davis can't get there in time to make the catch.
And, I mentioned Jimmy Panetta, of course, being the son of Leon Panetta. A lot of the times when you hear a name that sounds very familiar with a member of Congress, there's a very, very good chance that person is probably a sibling, a son, a daughter related to another member of Congress. A lot of political legacies move through Washington.
Was it the Dingles who they've held a seat for, say, the last 100 years, I think, or something along those
right.
lines?
John Dingell, the longest serving member of Congress ever, and then followed by Debbie Dingell.
1-1 the count after the foul ball. 2 down here in the bottom of the second. Stubbe winds and pitches. This one's hit right, a liner to the second baseman.
Nice grab by Brady.
Big play by Brady as they get out of that inning, allowing just 3 runs. So after 2 innings, the Democrats lead the Republicans 3-3. This is the 58th annual Congressional Baseball Game, seen on C-SPAN, heard on federalnewsradio.com, and streaming at WTOP.com.
Yeah, and Dave, as you mentioned earlier, if we're on this pace for 3 runs per inning per team, that would get you to 21, which would be the winning total last year. Obviously a much tighter game, though, early on. Nice, exciting game so far.
Cedric Richmond back out to pitch the 3rd inning, 7-0 with the 2.20 ERA. That is prorated over 7 innings, as is the custom. This is a 7-inning game as opposed to the 9-inning game that we see at the big league level or the professional level. Rodney Davis leading off the 3rd. And takes the first pitch for a ball. Davis out of the 13th district from the state of Illinois, wearing a Taylorville High School uniform in his picture. You don't know where Taylorville is in the land of Lincoln. Number 13 on his back. One of the many right-handed hitters in this Republican lineup. Second pitch and third pitch taken for balls. No.
Yeah, Richmond, especially against the bottom of this lineup, really has to find the strike zone.
This one's hit a grounder straight to first base. Easy catch, easy tag.
It's a little surprising. You'd think that they would want to make him work as much as possible. If they can turn this into a battle of the bullpens, I mean, it really opens up the game.
I was thinking exactly the same thing, No. It's been pretty rare so far that we've seen an out on the very first batter.
3 unassisted on the play. Barry Loudermilk, first baseman from Georgia.
And he
another
goes
3
after the
unassisted. So how about that? Back-to-back plays up the first base line.
And probably nobody happier about that than Cedric Richmond.
Yes. Oh, cut down on that pitch count. The wind and the pitch, and there's a bunt.
Nice
Just
bunt.
fair. Richmond gets it right near the third base line. The throw to first in time.
What a play.
Wow. That's why you pitch him. That's why he makes plays in the field. A 1-2-3 third inning for the Democrats.
And I got a question kind of everything that just happened. He was down 3-0 to the leadoff guy, and got out of that in 3 pitches.
Right.
Like,
Pretty much.
That's a 6-pitch inning. That could swing this entire game.
Really surprising.
So Mark Walker goes down quietly. No hits that time for the Republicans after 3 hits in the first and second innings.
I'll have to admit, after the first 2 innings, I did not expect a 1-2-3 inning there.
Maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Perhaps.
We've seen a few of those.
Yes.
And you know what? When you're in your 30s, 40s, maybe even 50s in the field, you're not making plays. It's one of those things. When the last time I played for WTOP softball, your mind is making the play while your body is still 10 feet behind you.
Exactly.
And then the ball drops, and you say, "Wait, I was there." No, you weren't.
Well, and you know, we talked about Cedric Richmond when he came into this game. Had a little more zip on his fastball, had a little more snap on his curveball. He's getting hit more than he used to, but he still scrambled off the mound pretty good there to get to that and threw an absolute bullet to first base. That was a pretty good bunt. I mean, that's where you want it. You know, 60 feet up the line.
Too.
Yeah,
especially in a game where the infielders aren't as mobile and they're not as coached as they are in pro ball or even at the younger levels. And perfect stop, plant. And that was a dart to first base.
That might have been his best fastball all day.
I think you may have something there. Pitch like you did that way for the rest of the night. Back to take the mound is Stubbe. Allowed 3 runs in the first inning, 3 in the second.
I'm the tech guy in my family, but
the Republicans take to the field. Still waiting for the first batter.
Who will
Colin
be?
Allred.
Colin Allred, Congressman
he's
Allred. He's back. Ripped a ball over the left fielder's head the last time he was up.
If there was any question of whether or not he was healthy enough to swing the bat, he at least answered that.
Unfortunately, his wheels hurting just a tiny bit.
Not quite as fleet of foot as he used to be, perhaps.
Still chugged into second, though.
Yes. Stand-up double.
Much like when Matt Adams, if you've seen him, it's just, oh my, it's like there's a train and he might get there eventually.
Is that the proverbial piano on the back?
Could be. I think it's more of a Hammond organ. So it's not Adams.
But you have to use the word lumbering, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right-handed batter with the lumber. Colin Allred, 32nd district out of the state of Texas. An outfielder. The Democrats have left 2 on base so far this evening. Republicans have left 5. They've also committed 3 errors. Democrats have 6 hits on the night. Republicans have 5.
Just FYI, Matt Adams 6'3", 245. Colin Allred 6'1", 242.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Pretty
comparable.
Pretty comparable.
Yeah.
First pitch, a strike. Just underway here in the bottom of the third. This one's hit high to center field. Coming in to make the catch. And
nice play.
Nice hit, but center fielder in perfect positioning. And he makes the grab.
Former NFLer to former NFLer.
That's right.
How about that, Mr. Gonzalez? Tom Malinowski out of the Garden State. 7th district out of New Jersey. 1 down here in the third. First pitches.
You'll remember, and Noah's been making some good points about where the players are. Malinowski last time hit the ball, a blooper into right field near the line.
Yes.
The right fielder, somebody is now telling him, hey, move over.
He was 100 feet off the line. He was fully on the other side of second base. As we look up from our vantage point on the third baseline, he was a full 100 feet off the foul line when the last at bat he put it right out into the space there. I mean, if he hit that same ball now, it might go all the way to the wall.
Second pitch high for a ball, 2-0 the count. Malinowski, right-hander, against Stubbe, the right-hander. Nobody on with 1 out here in the third. Stubbe takes his time. The pitch, and this one goes straight to right field.
Same spot, exactly.
Can he get there in time? Makes the stop, but there's a runner aboard. So it could have been 2 bases if he had been positioned where he originally was.
Yeah, I mean, at least 2. He had to slide to make that play, to make a stop and keep him from advancing. Again, if he was in his original position, he'd still be tracking that thing down.
He had a double to right in the first, drove in a run. Here he gets on base to give them a chance.
And when the right fielder moved over, it reminded me of that Little League moment where somebody in the dugout is yelling, "Hey, Johnny, you got to get way over, buddy."
You got to stop the ball before it gets to the parking lot. Greg Stanton, 9th Arizona District, up for the first time tonight. Dean Phillips struck out in this spot in the first inning. 1 down here in the third. Democrats with a 6-3 lead. First pitch is taken, off to the races, and safe in second. Another stolen base.
We saw Malinowski steal third last time. Wouldn't be surprised to see him do it again right here.
Wheels Malinowski on the base paths. Ball was taken for a strike, so it's 0-1 on Stanton, wearing an Arizona State jersey. His profile picture here at the ballpark. The 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss, and jumping into third base like clockwork, Malinowski. Pair of swipes by him. He had a stolen base in the first inning and 2 here in the third. All he needs to do is start referring to himself in the third person, and we have a Ricky Henderson on our hands.
That's right.
You'd go say, Tommy says that Tommy likes to steal. This pitch is grounded through the wickets. Left side of the infield, runner comes home.
Nice hit by the former Phoenix mayor and now Arizona congressman.
Good placement too. It was almost, I mean, you don't know if they draw stuff like that up, but it looked like, okay, I'll just hit it there.
Right.
Boom, guy comes home.
As they say, the ball had eyes.
RBI for Stanton. 7-3 now. Up now Cisneros. One of 2 left-handers we've seen in the lineup tonight for the Democrats.
And remember, Cisneros, the last time he was up, he had that little bloop over the shortstop who was playing in very tight.
Left side of the infield playing right on the dirt.
Could be a double play.
To the second baseman. Short, and a 4-6-3 double play.
Nicely done.
By Cisneros. But the Democrats tack on a run here in the bottom of the third inning. Our score, the Democrats lead the Republicans 7-3 after, actually they score, it's 7-3 after 3 innings. As you are listening to the 58th Annual Congressional Baseball Game on C-SPAN, FederalNewsNetwork.com, and WTOP.com.
The FBI uses its...
Brady. But I think that might be more of a reflection on the amount of pitches that Richmond has had to make so far this evening.
Right.
As the last two offerings were not exactly on target. Cedric Richmond in his LSU garb. Speaking of LSU and WTOP and the interview that we had in the pregame show, Jason Fraley's cousin, Jake, who played at LSU, is now one step shy of the major leagues. He's at AAA Potomac, we learned last week.
Fabulous.
That's got to be exciting. Oh, Tacoma.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean to say Potomac. Yeah, Tacoma. So Mariners affiliate. One step shy of the majors. First pitch is a strike. Anthony Gonzalez rips one.
Rips it.
Into left field. It'll fall for a hit. Runner goes to third. Might not beat the tag. Here comes Richmond. Doesn't collect the ball in time. Runner's safe at third. Gonzalez with a big double right there. And just like that, the Republicans are in business. One out with runners on second and third.
I think Gonzalez is going to get invited back. He's 3 for 3.
Nice.
Definitely
stroke by
going to.
Gonzalez.
That has to be uncomfortable if they disinvite representatives after an 0 for 6 performance or something along those lines. Stubbe at the plate. 17th District out of the Sunshine State. A freshman congressman. Just elected last fall in the midterm elections. First offering's fouled. 2 down with runners on second and third. Stubbe with a chance to tighten this one up as the Democrats lead 7-3 in the fourth. Foul ball. Here comes Richmond. And he catches it.
You got to think that's a little payback for
yes.
getting struck out the last inning. He was steamrolling toward the dugout there.
Foul ball to the pitcher, and that's not a 1-2-3 inning, but quite an effort there by Richmond to get out of that jam with runners on second and third. So 2 runners are left on base, running the total to 7 on the evening for the Republicans. Pair of hits gives them 8 on the night. They do not score, so it remains 7-3 as we enter the bottom of the fourth inning. Remember, it's a 5th inning stretch, so stay with us through the middle of the 5th as opposed to the middle of the 7th.
But right on cue, heading to the bottom of the 4th, the presidents are racing.
Gotta love that. Okay, we've got let's see, 2 Republicans, a Democratic Republican, and a Federalist. No Whig representation here.
No Whigs.
I see a couple Whigs out there. I don't know about you.
Literally. No Millard Fillmore. It's a shame they didn't, because they retired Taft. They retired Coolidge as well, or I guess he just chose not to run. Are we going to have a 4-way tie?
At least a 3-way
yes. tie. Okay. Well, that's cute. I'm still going to say first in war, first in peace, and first in the president's race. Washington. Although he did not swap partners in midstream and kept Abe Lincoln in there.
That's true.
Of course, Teddy walked softly, yet still carried a big stick. And Jefferson still lives. And we're done with our presidential trivia for this moment. Somebody actually a couple years ago, I forget, maybe it was Politico, actually did a what would the all-time presidential lineup be? Imagining different presidents as baseball players, and he actually came up with an all-Virginia rotation where you had Washington, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, and then Woodrow Wilson, because Washington's the ace of the staff. Right. Jefferson, very complimentary. He's a 1A. And then usually in most rotations, the third and fourth guys, you don't really know them. And how did they get to 16 wins anyways? That's the classic Madison and Monroe.
I feel like Lincoln's got to be in. Maybe he's the closer.
Center field.
With that height, though, I mean,
I'm saying,
you're coming straight downhill off the mound. I don't know.
Okay.
Right. And I'm going with Taft at catcher.
Taft is that first reliever who just eats innings because, well, yes.
Because he just does.
Yes.
Taft Adams off the bench.
I think so. And leading off for the Democrats here in the bottom of the fourth inning with the score now 7-3. Daniel Kildee out of Michigan. Democrats have left a pair on base. This one's hit fly ball to the outfield. Almost a collision, but the center fielder glides over, makes the catch, Gonzalez.
Gonzalez covering a lot of ground out there.
Yeah, that ball was hit to straightaway left field.
We're talking Kelly Leakish ground right there.
Leaving nothing to chance.
You've got it.
So how do we score that? F7 with an 8 in parentheses?
It's a clean F8, but
Jared Huffman at the plate. 2nd District from California. Left-hander smacks one right to the first baseman. Oh, this will be a 3 unassisted.
And so now maybe the Republicans can get a quick inning here.
Well, both pitchers have settled in a bit. Obviously, that first inning was rough for each one. It took Stubbe a little longer. It's not a surprise. This is his first game. Still getting used to the rhythms and what to expect and all the extra base running. But he's settled in pretty nicely. Had a much better inning in the 3rd, and he's one batter away from a 3-up, 3-down 4th.
Paul Ruiz settles in. Batter's box from the right side. This one is hit straight to the third baseman. He makes the stop, but is unable to get up and make a play. He actually did a somersault into foul territory.
That was Denver Riggleman, the new freshman congressman from Virginia. Nice stop there by Riggleman.
I don't know that the somersault was intentional, but
it was. Was that Nettles-esque?
When I run into him, I'm going to have to talk to him about that play. That was pretty spectacular.
Infield single for Ruiz. Pete Aguilar. The chance to do some damage. Struck out in the 1st. Finished on 3rd in the 2nd inning. 7-3 the Democrats lead. Stolen base attempt in cleanly. Runner on 2nd now.
There's not a whole lot they can do. I mean, with how slow the delivery is to the plate, with Davis's arm, that there's only so close you can try to keep him, and only so many throws to first you can make. He took something of a late break. Oh, we have a hidden
ball trick.
Oh, very nice.
Well, that's one way to wipe out the base running.
Well, we went from talking about the Bad News Bears with Kelly Leak, and then there was a hidden ball trick and breaking training. That's the one with Greg Devane, I think, or Bill Devane.
And I think the argument here is that he might have stepped back on the rubber, because then you cannot. Once you step back on the rubber, you have to have the ball in your mitt. I think that's what he's trying to argue. The manager.
Do we go to the video?
Yeah,
I don't want to know. Oh my!
We need to bring out Walter Matthau, going back to the Bad News Bears, and have him argue it.
A 1-2-3, or not a 1-2-3 inning, but a short inning for the Democrats, as they still lead, though, 7-3 after 4 innings. This is the 58th annual Congressional Baseball Game on FederalNewsNetwork.com, C-SPAN, and WTOP.com.
With your Mayo Clinic radio.
Hit a moon over Miami. A 3-run shot. It's the Nats 4. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brad House, Senior Vice President and Council of Athletic Relations, and Zoe Newman of the Boys
of local Washington, D.C. charities. AFLAC is a proud sponsor of the Congressional Baseball Game for charity. And I'm happy to present the support of the work of this organization on behalf of all the sponsors, attendees, and players to the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Washington, represented by Zoe. Thank you for all you do and to enable young people in our area to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens. Thank you.
Again, the charities involved. Quite a wide array. Washington Literacy Center, Boys and Girls Club of Greater Washington, Washington Nationals Dream Foundation, among other charities last year. $1.5 million raised.
Really nice to hear that.
John Moulinar does lead off from the state of Michigan. Fouls the first offering back, no play. Republicans have left 7 on base this evening. Democrats have left just a pair. Republicans have also committed 3 errors in the field. Both teams, it's tough when you get to be of the age when you're not at the Major League Baseball level to make plays on a Major League field.
We've seen a couple people have a good idea about where they're going with something and maybe have it not turn out quite the way that they imagined it as they went into a dive or a slide.
The 2-1 offering taken for a ball. Number 17 on Moulinar's back.
At a certain age, you have to respect what your body gives you, right?
Or just ignore it. Swing, and this one's popped up right to the second baseman. Caught for the first out of the 5th inning.
Made that a little more adventurous maybe than it needed to be with the basket catch, but two-handed it. It's always
He's also playing a little in, too. We've seen everybody play a little in, sometimes to their detriment. Outfield is straight away.
So interesting, that was Ruiz, who got caught in the hidden ball trick, now makes the first out right after the
nice to bounce back from that. Rodney Davis, 0 for 2 on the night. Fielder's choice in the first, 3 unassisted in the third. 0-1 offering, grounded to the first baseman, thrown to the pitcher Richmond for the putout.
You know, that's one of those plays. We haven't seen it yet on the other side, but I'm not sure if Greg Stubbe's able to get to first to make that play. I'm sure that they've addressed that, but I don't know what that sort of defensive shift is going to look like. If Brady's going to have to hustle over from second, or who's going to be there to make a play on that.
Barry Loudermilk up.
Yeah, that was a nice play, one of those plays that you kind of take for granted in the major leagues, but that was actually a really nice play with Richmond getting to first.
The first baseman takes the first pitch for a ball. Last time up, he grounded the ball right to the first baseman. 1-1 the count. Pitch taken for a ball. 2-1 now with 2 down here in the 5th inning. Cedric Richmond, unbeaten in this game.
Oh, it looks like they had the count wrong.
Yes, offering taken on the 3-1, and he gets to first. So Loudermilk with the walk, a 2-out walk. Beware the Ides of March and beware the 2-out walk.
Beware the 2-out walker.
Yes, so. Last time Walker was up, he bunted down the third baseline. Richmond made a fantastic play to erase Walker and get out of the inning.
On what was a really nice bunt, actually.
First offerings outside. Taken for a ball. 2 down here in the 5th. Republicans plated 3 runs the first time they were up. They've yet to score since. 7 left on base this evening for the Republicans. They trail by 4. The 1-0 offering off to the races and a stolen base.
And Walker's showing bunt again there, but pulling back. It seemed like that was maybe the plan the whole time.
Runner on second. 7-3 the lead for the Democrats. Richmond on the hill. Walker, the shortstop, digs in. The 2-0 pitch taken for a ball.
That's 7 straight out of the strike zone for Richmond. Seemed like he was getting in a groove there.
And it's easy to lose control. He had that walk the last time where 2 pitches just went straight to the backstop. Didn't even hit the umpire. It's one thing when you don't hit the catcher, when you don't hit the umpire on the way back. It's something else. 3-0 pitch taken for a strike. Runner on second with 2 out. 3-1 the count on Walker. Democrats lead 7-3. They have 9 hits. The Republicans have 7 tonight. 3-1 pitch taken for a strike. 3-2. Richmond can get out of a little jam here. Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Brought the heat.
That is just the second strikeout of the evening. Wenstrup struck out in the second looking. This time Walker goes down swinging. So we are midway through 5 innings with the score 7-3. Another runner left on board. 8 runners stranded this evening by the Republicans. They trail 7-3. 5th inning stretch is Mr. Big on his way out. Is it Mr. Big or Dr. Big or Captain Big?
Or just Big?
Big, I think it's just Big, yeah. It's like Mr. T. It's like, what's your first name, Mr. T? And he said, the Mister's the first name, period's the middle name, last name's the T. Which,
I see.
When you think about it, it makes all the sense in the world if you're 10 and watching the A-Team.
Right.
5th inning stretch song. Here comes Big.
It is so absolutely awesome to see so many people come together for such a good time and a good cause. From coast to coast, sea to sea, mountain high and all across the heartland, we're here to celebrate all that is great about America. Please join me in singing a truly American song, celebrating baseball and all the greatness that's here tonight. Take me out to the ball game. Everybody. Here we go. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. And it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Y'all make some noise.
Love you, talking about Cedric Richmond right before the stretch here, and you know his numbers are tilted a little bit by that first outing where he was so dominant. But he's had 62 strikeouts in 54 innings of Congressional Baseball pitching.
That's Scherzer-esque.
Right, only 2 in 5 innings tonight, and that's been a bit of a trend. I mean, he is a veteran pitcher now. He is a guy who's going to have to use his craft a little bit. And
are you saying that when he came up to the show, he was more of a thrower, and now he's more of a pitcher?
Yeah, I think he had a little more raw stuff. I think they weren't quite ready for him, and now he's getting outs with guile as opposed to pure stuff anymore.
Makes all the sense in the world. No take on me during the 5th inning stretch. Sorry, gentlemen.
If you're a Nats fan, you always like that.
Right? Oh, how do you know? Yeah. I used to do the air keyboards on the dashboard of that. My mother would be like, no, you're not going to do that.
So Cedric Richmond could become Crafty Richmond, given the guile.
Yes, we like that. You see what you're doing. Aguilar to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning for the Democrats. Grounder, hit to short. The throw to first, off the line, and he reaches via error.
staying with that theme, I always thought a good name for a older pitcher who had kind of lost his heat would be Wiley Crafty.
I like that. And you just have bad names like Jimmy Whiff. And you're like, no, we're not gonna.
Not gonna do that.
You're gonna be a pitcher, Jimmy. Up to bat now, the guy who's struck out a pair. Made some good defensive plays as well. Been productive at the plate too. Cedric Richmond 1 for 2 on the evening. Scored in the first inning, struck out in the second. First pitch. There's a steal. First pitch taken for a ball. Stolen base. Runner on second. Key now, stay on the bag until you see the pitcher on the rubber. Just saying. Bottom of the fifth inning. Richmond entered Congress earlier this decade, 2011.
And as Stubbe turns and bluffs back to second there, we see they're pinching again at shortstop, and I just got to say, this is not the guy you want to be too close to, especially with a metal bat. If he can get into one.
Outfield straight away. Infield is in. Right near the edge of the dirt on the left side.
They're just going to have to leave Kevin Brady at second or give up third base. I mean, it's this little cat and mouse can only really go one way or the other here.
1-0 the count. Stubbe finally gathering himself. Gets the signs. The pitch taken. 2-0 the count now. Early in the game, Richmond gave up a couple of walks, and that led to a Republicans' big inning. Right now, with a runner on second and nobody out, Richmond's ahead in the count, 2-0. Infield in on the left side. Third pitch taken for a ball. They say a walk's as good as a hit, but when you're Cedric Richmond, who has legitimate power in this game, a walk is almost a victory.
You can see how deep the outfield hasn't played. I mean, that is as deep as we've seen them play anybody all night.
Yeah, that's a good point.
3-0 the count with a runner on second. Nobody out here in the bottom of the fifth. Democrats with a 7-3 lead. Pitch taken for a strike.
And that was very much ball four that he swung at there. that pitch was at the visor that he fouled back to the screen.
He was swinging on that one all the way.
You can't step out of the batter's box like. 7-3 the Democrats lead with a runner on second. Nobody out here in the bottom of the fifth. Stubbe delivers. This ball bounces right in front of the plate, and that's ball four. Well, Richmond swinging at the questionable pitches. That time, when the ball bounces a foot in front of home plate, they're going to let that one go and take your bag.
Yeah, he doesn't want to walk in this game, but he'll take it if you force it to him.
Jimmy Panetta at the plate now for the Democrats, who lead 7-3 in the bottom of the fifth. Glad you're aboard here on FederalNewsNetwork.com, C-SPAN, and WTOP.com. Dave Preston joined by Noel Frank and Mitchell Miller here on the third base side. Beautiful night here on South Capitol Street.
This feels like a big spot in this game. I mean, the scoring has settled down. Neither team scored since the third. Kind of a jam here for Stubbe.
Up 4 with the chance to produce.
Yeah, really trying to keep them within contact. Maybe you get Cedric Richmond as he's tiring at the end of the game on the mound, and you can mount a late rally.
And look at the man on deck, number 15, Allred for the Democrats. So you know that Panetta is going to get a little bit better of an offering here than otherwise.
And Richmond screaming.
Richmond is sensing what you're talking about, Noah, because I saw him when he went to first base. He was already making some gestures to the third base coach, basically saying we should be running on every single play, and clearly he wanted a double steal.
Oh,
and they were going there, except Panetta fouled it off. They had second and third easily stolen. I think he knows, one, you got to stay out of the force out here, but they're giving up a chance to. I mean, there has really not been a close throw from Rodney Davis tonight.
Right.
Is it fielders' ambivalence or fielders' indifference at this point? Because sadly, when you're sitting back there, if you're not able to make the throw consistently, you know, oh gosh, it's just.
And listen, some of that's on Stubby too. I mean, he has a very deliberate delivery. If he sped himself up and slide step to the plate, cut down on how long. I mean, there are other ways to try to make that easier on your catcher.
No, they're clearly getting a good jump on him.
And at the plate, the 0-1 pitch. This one's hit
right
in between first and second base. 1 run, chugging home. Richmond makes his way all the way to third, and he's going to go to home. Does he have the plate? He gets there. He's safe.
That was close, though.
Both runs score. He beat the tag coming home.
The throw got there, but the tag never got there from Davis coming in behind him.
He knew not to block the plate on Richmond, unlike the other guy.
And, part of that, I mean, I think that ball's through anyway, but Kevin Brady having to cover second base opens up that right side. Seems like an intentional play there to try to hit the ball the other way. Yeah, it just missed him on the swipe tag.
Pair of RBI on that double for Pineda. And just like that, it's a 9-3 ball game here in the bottom of the 5th. And with the 7-inning game, only 2 more at-bats for the Republicans, who scored early, but since that 3-run first have come up dry. Allred has shown some power today. Allred's doubled the left in the first inning, flew out to center field in the third. Right-handed hitter, right-handed pitcher. Runner goes to third, and there's no throw.
And I think we have a House Speaker Nancy Pelosi sighting here at the ball game. So she's always been a big baseball fan, by the way. Usually likes to throw in a comment or two at the end of her weekly news conference, talking about how things are going in the majors.
Posing for some photos behind the screen here.
1-0 the count. This one's hit into the right field gap. Coming down with it. Unable to make the catch, so it's a double for Allred, and the run will score. Pineda.
Allred showing power to every field. Left, center, and now right.
And, this is one of those things that when you don't play every day, the ball goes up in the air and you think you got a good read on it. You start to come in on it, and then you realize it's 10 feet over your head, and there's no way to retreat. It seemed like he had a good bead, and then it was just completely lost by the time it actually reached him.
Malinowski's reached base twice tonight, a pair of hits to right field. Let's see where the Republicans align their defense. Pinch runners on second. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Democrats with a 10-3 lead.
One of the things that I did not get an answer on, I know that they practice with Major League balls. They practice with actual Major League balls, like leftover batting practice balls. But I wonder if they're playing with Major League balls, and I wonder if they're playing with 2019 Major League balls, which we've discovered are much more aerodynamic, have much less drag. We've seen a lot of hard-hit balls today, and some that have really carried.
We have.
In ways that maybe it's just the new members, or maybe there's a little something else going on there.
First pitch taken for a ball, no steal attempt. Pinch runner slightly off the second base bag. 11 hits so far tonight for the Democrats, 7 for the Republicans.
Right, and talking about the long ball, here at Nats Park, it's not like we're in the thin mountain air at Colorado Rockies Park or anywhere like that. But we've seen some balls that have really carried.
And it's hot, but it's not hot and humid. It's sort of, counterintuitive. But when it's hot and humid, the ball actually carries further.
Right.
The wetness of the air actually allows the ball to travel further.
It's just an uncomfortable hot as opposed to a let the ball carry a little bit more hot.
Right. It's not a July hot yet.
Not yet. 2-1 the count after a taken ball on the 1-1 pitch.
Whether the Republicans have double barrel action going down in their bullpen. It is probably the end of the line this inning for Greg Stubbe. He has thrown a lot of pitches.
Stubbe pitched well in that first inning. He struck out 3, but unfortunately, Democrat bats were just a little too much for him tonight.
And as is the case for really both teams, as Noah was saying, it's sometimes tough to make these plays that may in the majors look like a little bit more of a routine play. Stubbe had a couple of tough breaks with some plays that might have been made behind him, but I agree. He had a good start, and he's pitched pretty well.
Runner on second, nobody out, 3-1 the count. Pitch is taken for a strike.
Yeah, to your point, Mitch, maybe the most impressive number that we've seen tonight through 5 innings is the Democrats have no errors, which that's a rarity in this game.
Is.
If they get through 7 clean innings, that would be really impressive. The Republicans have 4. They've all contributed in meaningful ways to rallies.
The 3-2. This one's fouled back and out of play. And misplayed in the stands. The guy I think he had a beer in his left hand, which I think is his catching hand. So
makes it a little tougher.
Yeah, it's better than like having a plate of nachos in one hand. It's tougher to make a catch with nachos.
Very tough.
3-2 the count on Malinowski. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 3 runs have already scored. Pitches a ball, so he walks. We're gonna
get the loudest ovation of the night here, as Linda Sanchez is going to step in and pinch hit for the Democrats.
How about that? Sanchez pinch hitting here in the 5th. Out of the state of California, 38th district. Right-handed batter.
This is no courtesy, feel-good moment. We're just cheering because Linda Sanchez has a .444 batting average in this game.
She is a hitter.
She is 4 for 9 with a walk and 5 RBI. She's had some crucial hits in this game. She usually gets her 1 at bat wearing her Title IX jersey.
Yeah. Fans in the suite next to us chanting Linda. First pitch offering. Outside for a ball. Runner takes third on the steal.
I think it was pretty easy for her to lay off that pitch since it was about 24 inches over her head.
Cardenas, the pinch runner. Stubbe looking to get out of this inning, looking to get the first out of the inning. 11 hits so far tonight for the Democrats. They lead 10-3. Right-handed pitcher, right-handed batter. Infield is in. Swing and a foul. Back and out of play. 8 runners left on base for the Republicans, just 2 for the Democrats. Runners at first and third. Democrats have plated 3 runs this inning. Major opportunity to get some more here. The 1-1 pitch is high for a ball. Runner takes second on the steal.
The one thing that's going to do is close up that right side. Linda, we've seen her in past years use that right side hole for base hits, so interesting to see here.
Runners on second and third, nobody out. 2-1 the count. Stubbe labors, delivers. This one's in for a strike.
Good pitch by Stubbe.
Sanchez out of the 38th Congressional District in the state of California. 2-2 the count. Runners on second and third with nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. Democrats with a 7-run lead. Pitch is high, 3-2. Full count for Sanchez, the RBI machine over the years in this game. See if she can poke one to the right side of the infield here. Or hit a bloop into the infield dirt on the left side. Both infielders on the left side are on the grass. Foul ball looked as though it almost bounced off the catcher's head.
Nearly into the Republican dugout, caught the screen out in front.
Also, it looks like another California Congresswoman, Nanette Diaz-Barragan, is in the on-deck circuit.
Barragan on deck. Sanchez at the plate. 3-2 the count. Infield is in on the left-hand side on the grass. Runner off third takes a generous lead. This one in there for a strike. A called third strike on Sanchez.
He dropped a 3-2 curveball in there, much to the chagrin of the left side of the ballpark.
It's the first strikeout since the second inning. 5th K on the night for Stubbe. Taking the place of Cisneros.
Diaz-Barragán with her Dodger uniform.
One out here in the bottom of the 5th. Runners on second and third. Barragán, right-handed hitter, facing the right-handed pitcher Stubbe, who's pitched the entire night so far for the Republicans. Richmond is still on the mound after starting for the Democrats. Runner leads off third, swing and a miss, 0-2 the count. Generous lead taken off third to no avail. I do not know how tall Nanette Diaz-Barragán is, but even from this, it looks maybe 5'5", 5'6", so a tiny strike zone.
I think that might be generous.
Takes that one, and it's a wild pitch into score. The runner from third, Cardenas.
And you could see Rodney Davis maybe got to that ball in time to make a play, but Stubbe just doesn't have the mobility to come home and cover the plate.
Tough to do so with that brace. One and two the count. Runner on third after advancing from second on the wild pitch. 11-3. Swing and a miss. Strikeout. 6th K of the evening. And now with 2 outs, Democrats try to tack on perhaps one more run here in the bottom of the 5th. Joe Morrell,
New York Congressman,
plays catcher. 25th District. Right-handed batter takes the first pitch for a strike. Runner on third. The score is 11-3. Democrats have played it 4 this inning, their biggest inning of the night. 2 down. Infield playing in, but still on the dirt. 0-1 taken for a ball. Democrats have left 2 on base this evening. They've taken advantage of their opportunities tonight. Stubbe fires, and there's a hit right. Pitches it right to the shortstop, a grounder. The throw to first is in time.
Nice play.
Not a bang-bang play, but a good enough defensive play to get out of the inning. So, after 5, Democrats played 4 in the inning and now lead 11-3. This is the 58th annual Congressional Baseball Game on FederalNewsNetwork.com, C-SPAN, and WTOP.com.
With your Mayo Clinic.
Yeah, Democrats! 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 Yeah, Democrats!
And somewhere along the way, we start to believe that we were distant, we are from each other, and we were different, we must be from each other. And it's only when we venture out into the world that we realize all the things we share.
Let's go a minute! Excuse me! Excuse me! Maybe get my flag?
Maybe that's the power of flight. Delta isn't flying to over 300 places just to win but to show we were never that far apart in the first place.
suck the wind out of your sails, and it's been pretty one-sided since then.
Well, and Noah, to your point earlier in that last inning, we just had a feeling that was kind of a key moment. The Democrats were up 7-3. They got a couple of people on early, and once again, Richmond was on. They wheeled the guys home, and all of a sudden it's 11-3. We'll see if the Republicans can bounce back here. You never know. Richmond's had his rough moments during this game, so anything can happen.
Jeff Duncan, the pinch hitter, first at bat of the evening, the congressman from the 3rd District of South Carolina, plays shortstop.
And it's important to note, you can see if you look down, if you're watching on TV and you look down the right field line, the Republican bullpen has a bunch of guys hanging out. There's catchers down there.
Can we say it's percolating?
There's 8 or 9 guys down there. There is no Democratic bullpen, and I mean that literally and figuratively.
That's true.
They don't really have anybody to come in behind Richmond. So if he gets into real trouble, there isn't somebody you can just turn to come in and close this thing out.
2-2 pitch taken for a ball. 3-2 the count on Jeff Duncan, his first at bat of the evening.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, there's maybe 1 or 2 guys that will reluctantly or take one for the team come in and maybe pitch an inning, but they all know that Richmond's their ace, and they're hoping that he's going to last the whole game.
Well, in the one game when he did come out late, it is when they blew it and they lost. They basically made a judgment call. I don't know if he can get through this. We got to throw somebody else out there, and it didn't work out.
7 hits so far tonight for the Republicans. They've left 8 on base. They trail 11-3. 3-2 offering fouled and back into the seats on the third base side.
Right, it's not as if the Republicans haven't had base runners. As you mentioned, 8 players left on base. They've had some chances there.
Yeah, they've only been out hit 11-7. I mean, that's a pretty close tally in terms of hits overall. The Democrats only have maybe a trio of extra base hits. They've just been able to take extra bases on the base paths.
And strike 3. So Duncan sits down. As that is the 3rd strikeout of the night for Richmond. Chuck Fleischman.
I believe he is the first left-handed batter for the Republicans. Is that right?
And he shows bunt. First offering. Bounces to the backstop. Third strikeout of the night for Richmond.
But it's 2nd in a row.
Yes, so he's picking up steam.
Struck out the last batter
Walker,
of the last inning. And he's set down 5 out of 6 here.
Right-handed pitcher, left-handed batter. Showing bunt again, taking. 2-0 the count. Fleischman out of Tennessee. 3rd District. The 2-0 pitch. Tapped just inside the third base line. The throw to first.
Oh.
He's safe, they're going to say.
Tough
Looked like
play.
the play was almost in time. Instead of bunt single.
That's actually good work by the umpire. You could see him getting ready to ring him up, and then he gets the foot in, and he kind of reverses his signal and shows safe instead.
Those are the best signs and signals.
Hard to judge, but it did look like that ball was going to roll foul.
First hit since the 4th inning for the Republicans. Back up Kevin Brady, who's walked all 3 times. He's come up this evening.
We'll see if Richmond makes a mistake to Brady, because that could get a couple of base runners on.
With an 8-run lead, there's no excuse for him not to pitch to him here. So I think he'll get a pitch to hit.
First pitch is strike, and he beans him.
Or he'll get a pitch that hits him, one or the other.
Right.
So 3 walks and a hit by pitch.
I don't think that was intentional in any way.
No, I think it was.
You don't want any other base runners here.
Hit him on the backside, actually.
Yeah, I think it was a curveball that didn't curve.
It's not the 19th century. You don't want to hit other congressmen.
That's right.
Although I think that was 2 centers. Was it Sumner and Prescott or something along those lines? Anthony Gonzalez has a chance now with just 1 out and 2 runners on base. He drove in a run in the first inning. He's 3 for 3 on the night.
I mean, this is the chance if they're going to get back in this game at all and put a little pressure on Cedric Richmond.
The former Colts wide receiver at the plate takes the first pitch for a ball, takes the second one for a ball as well. One out here is.
So Brady has reached base 4 times, 3 on walks and 1 a hit by pitch, right?
And Gonzalez is 3 for 3 coming into this at bat.
This is the meat of the order, as you guys said. The pop up, and it's caught by
Ruiz.
The second baseman, Ruiz, with the play.
We get a little bit of everything in this game. That was an infield fly rule called on that play, so even if it had dropped, it would have been the second out of the inning.
All right.
Unfortunate timing for the Republicans that that was the one time he didn't get a base hit.
Stubbe at the plate. Got a hit in his first at bat. And his second at bat, fouled out to the pitcher. The third time he was up, takes the first pitch for a ball.
By the way, I still like that story that you told earlier, Noah, about Stubbe in his orientation actually getting plucked out by another lawmaker who said, "Oh, you play baseball, huh?"
2 outs here in the 6th, and this one's hit down the left field line.
That's
It
fair.
falls fair. Runners are going to go. One will score. Second will score as Stubbe settles for a hit. He's got that brace on his right knee. But he drives in a pair.
Nice.
Big at bat by Stubbe there.
Big rip by Stubbe.
He does play baseball.
He does.
And that's, Richmond has kind of walked the tightrope a lot of the night, as evidenced by the 8 left on base
Right.
through 5 innings. That's the one time he has not gotten away with it.
Yeah, that time he really pitched to him, and Stubbe took advantage.
John Molinar at bat from the state of Michigan. First pitch taken for a ball. 11-5 now is the score. Democrats with a 6-run lead. Republicans with their first run since the first inning. Second pitch ball. Runner on first. Courtesy runner. Stubbe doing damage with the 2-out single, or with the 2-run single. Also a 2-out single. Pitch is fouled back. 2-1 the count.
Well, Richmond's ERA will not be helped by that, but I'm sure he's fine without all things considered with how he's pitched today.
Right.
Runner takes a tiny lead. Pitch goes in for a ball. 3-1 the count now on Molinar. Last time up, he popped up to the second baseman. He got a hit in the first inning, drove in a run. This one hits the dirt, and the runner takes it back. Runners now on first and second after the 2-out walk to Molinar. That brings up Rodney Davis, barring a pinch hitter here. Pinch runners.
Another chance
in
to
effect.
pop a run or two here.
Yeah, I mean, this game it's just close enough that this becomes a big hitter because you don't want the lineup to turn back over and get back to that 2-3-4 again with a chance to really do some damage. If Richmond can get through this, he can get away with maybe not facing Brady and Gonzalez and Stubbe again.
Davis reached via fielder's choice in the first. Takes the first pitch for a ball. A congressman from Illinois. Plays catcher tonight. Number 13 on his back. Takes the second pitch for a ball. Once again, Richmond falls behind. He fell behind 3-0 earlier. Davis swung on the 3-0 pitch. Grounded right to the first baseman. This one
nice
is
hit.
tapped into right center field. Runners are coming around.
That's going to bring 2 runs.
One will score. Here comes the second. Davis legs out a double. A stand-up double is 2-run score.
Big hit by Davis.
Well, and just like that, the 4 runs that they gave up in the bottom half of the 5th, they've gotten right back.
Really nice stroke by Davis there.
Davis with the 2-run double to right center field. Tightening things up. Now 11-7 in the 6th inning. As the Republicans are showing the offense that they trotted out there the first time they were up and led 3-0. Barry Loudermilk.
Oh, and here we go again. Another hidden ball trick, but it didn't work this time.
And who was doing it but Raul Ruiz, who was caught on the other side trying to turn about his fair play. Slaps a little high five there.
Close, but no call. Swing and a miss.
And Richmond selling it as best he could, trying to act like he was stretching his hamstrings out on the back of the mound and just waiting for that to play
Davis
out.
said, "Hey, I know what you tried." Good attempt there.
Swing on the 0-1 pitch and a miss. Loudermilk now down 0-2 with 2 outs and a runner on second.
It's interesting. Richmond's been throwing so much off speed this inning, and he's just rearing back and firing fastballs now.
Fastball, foul, out of play. But it's caught on the fly by a fan. We've seen plenty of misses in the stands tonight.
But that was a nice one.
I can hold on. Is any of the players shouting? What district do you live in? Can you throw?
Right.
The 0-2 pitch taken for a ball. 1-2 the count. 2 down here in the top of the 6th inning. Runner on second. The lead no longer 8 runs as the Republicans have played it 4. Their big inning of the night. Democrats still with an 11-7 lead. The pitch grounded to short. Does he have enough time to make the throw to first? He does, but he has to jump off the bag. Tries to make the tag, cannot. Runner is safe, and we have runners at the corners with 2 down. Loudermilk legging at that one.
Well, we were talking earlier. The biggest difference so far in this game is the Republicans had 4 errors and the Democrats had not had any. There's your first one, and it comes at a rather inopportune time.
That's right. Malinowski actually made a pretty decent play on the ball. Obviously, the throw was just not there and pulled Cisneros way off the bag.
Mark Walker struck out to end the previous inning. And there's a steal. So it's now runners on second and third.
This could get really interesting if they could get this run across.
11-7 the lead. He's gone from being in a jam to being in a pickle.
Walker 0 for 3, but the Republicans have the tying run in the on-deck circle, which at the top of this inning did not seem like a remote possibility.
Right. Unfeasible. Inconceivable with no rhyming. Walker. 1-1 the count. Runners on second and third with 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. A shortstop from North Carolina. Here comes Richmond.
And, interestingly, he's pitching from the windup now with runners at second and third. Yeah. But I don't know that that's helping him much. It doesn't seem to be helping his accuracy.
Outside, 2-1. Republicans have left 8 on base this evening. That pitch is in for a strike. 2-2. We've seen Richmond dig deep early and often tonight. Let's see what he comes out with here. 11-7. The 2-2 pitch is taken for a called third strike. He rings him up. So Walker goes down on swings in the 5th inning, goes down looking in the 6th. Midway through the 6th inning, the Republicans put 4 runs on the board, but the Democrats still lead 11-7, gentlemen.
That's a big strikeout.
Huge, beyond big.
Walker, I think, had a few words, nothing major, but I think was just kind of checking with the umpire. Obviously didn't want to watch that one go by on the plate, but that was the call. So
the representative disagrees, sir.
Loudermilk took a very close 0-2 pitch for a ball in the at-bat prior.
That's true.
You often see, not necessarily a make-up call, but if there's 2 borderline calls in a row, if one goes one way, one's going to go the other way. That one was on a pitch, the ball that was called appeared to be a pitch just maybe a little low, a little outside. That one was maybe the other half of the plate.
Good point.
If you're gonna try to be fair, you give that call one way and then the other way.
Very first Congressional Baseball Game was played in 1909 when William Howard Taft occupied the White House. 110 years since, this is the 58th edition of that contest. Republicans with a 42-41-1 advantage.
And again, all these numbers might not add up in your brain. So just to be clear, we've gone 58 straight years.
Yes.
Hence why it's the 58th annual, but this is the 84th game.
Yes.
So this is a chance for the Democrats for the first time in a
up,
long
yes.
time to get this series level at 42-1.
Right. 9 out of the last 10 years, the Democrats have won. Republicans, as we talked about at the outset, they have a new pitcher, Greg Stubbe. They have a new coach. They actually started their practices earlier this spring, back in March. They actually also started practicing earlier. They were out at 6 a.m. practicing and then doing the people's business at the Capitol. So they've been practicing hard, and they had a big inning this past inning, 4 runs. Nice to see kind of a tight game here.
Perhaps next year they'll play Pepper in the hallways. So.
Well, that would be entertaining for
yes,
me.
I think so.
Well, and and by the nature of that big inning, obviously they needed it to get back in the game. But it's going to be the 9-1-2. They're going to cycle back to the top of the lineup. Brady is guaranteed an at-bat. They can get at least 1 base runner, which they will need. Gonzalez is guaranteed an at-bat. If they can get at least 2, Stubbe's guaranteed an at-bat. So they're probably going to get, the top of the order, the meat of the order up again.
The Davis hit was beyond huge.
Yeah.
Because that really, not only did it tighten things up, it extended the inning as well and really set things up for what could be a fantastic finish here.
This becomes
a
really big inning for Greg Stubbe, his first time out. He had a really tough inning the last inning, giving up 4 runs. Looked like he was maybe out of gas. They run him back out there. They've got support behind in the bullpen. You got to think he's on probably a fairly short leash.
Right. But he actually had a chance to sit down, whereas there have been a couple of short 1, 2, 3 innings, not a lot of pitches thrown, so he sat down, then he has to get right back out there. He actually could have kicked up a chair when he didn't have to get up.
And that's good for the defense, too. I mean, it's tough to stand out there for 10, 15 minutes, come back in for 2 minutes, and run right back out in the field again.
Hakeem Jeffries leading off the 6th inning for the Democrats. So Jeffries out of the state of New York with, I believe, we're in the Brooklyn uniform.
Also the number 4 Democrat in the House, closely watched by a lot of political observers to see where his career will end up. He has been mentioned as a possible successor at some point with this new generation of Democrats ascending potentially to House Speaker or somewhere high in the Democratic leadership.
11-7 the score. The count now 1-1 on Jeffries. Stubbe on the hill delivers. Pitch is taken for a ball. 2-1 now, nobody out, as this is the leadoff hitter in the bottom of the 6th inning for the Democrats, who jumped out to an 11-3 lead after trailing 3-0 in the top of the 1st. Republican making some ground back in the top of this frame with a 4-run inning, their big inning of the night. Pitch is taken, now 3-1 for Jeffries. Democrat big inning was the 5th when they played at 4. I think Big kind of spurred him on with his take me out to the ball game.
I think it spurred everybody on.
Oh, that goes without saying. 3-1 the count, nobody on. Pitch is taken for a strike. 3-2 now, facing Jeffries.
I don't think Jeffries liked that one. Thought it was a little inside.
Infield is in on the left side, just on the dirt. The 3-2 pitch. It's taken and he gets a pass. Ball. So ball 4 puts Jeffries aboard. Pete Aguilar reached via error and scored the last time that he was up.
This is Raul Ruiz.
Now. Or yes, sorry about that. Raul
Ruiz. The man who's been at the center of many hidden ball tricks tonight.
And as
giving and taking.
As I said at the top of the inning, might be a fairly short leash after the 4-run frame for Stubbe, and sure enough,
you're right.
After the leadoff walk, that's going to be the end of his evening. It's an admirable first effort. His defense wasn't great behind him. He wasn't able to get out of a couple of jams, but overall, he wasn't outpitched by that much.
6 strikeouts on the night for Stubbe. Pitching change for the Republicans.
So Coach Roger Williams says it is time.
Democrats lead the Republicans by the score of 11-7 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Runner aboard.
By the way, mentioning Congressman Williams, the new coach of the Republican team, going back to what we were talking about earlier with the Republicans kind of going after this game a little more intensely, perhaps, this spring. They say that he's been a real big part of that, that he actually was a college baseball coach at Texas Christian in Texas, obviously, and that he brings a real motivating coach attitude. So
the Republicans go to the bullpen with the score 11-7. Stubbe pitched well. Had 3 strikeouts in the first inning, 6 strikeouts on the night,
and only 3 walks. Which you want to make them put the ball in play in this game, and that he did that. Cedric Richmond's got 7 walks and a hit by pitch. I mean, he did a good job of forcing the lineup to beat him, and tough to hold runners.
Unfortunately, a couple plays here and there. One that just went over the outstretched glove of the shortstop. Another one hit the gap in right field. So, those they're not technically errors, but they do come back to haunt you. If you're just a foot to this side or a foot to that side, things work a little bit better. Raul Ruiz at the plate with a runner on base. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
They still haven't announced the pitcher here for the Republicans.
Mystery man. He has Doc on the back of his jersey, wears number 41. That is all we know at this time. 11 hits for the Democrats, and there's a stolen base. So Jeffries makes his way to second. And the Democrats, with an 11-7 lead, have a chance to tack on some more runs right here. The throw back to second, not in time. They're trying to keep him closer to the bag. 42-41-1. The Republicans lead entering this evening. 18 runs scored this evening thus far. 26 were scored last year in a Democratic win. 1-0 pitch is outside, 2-0 the count. Stubbe pitched well, but left after facing one batter in the bottom of the 6th inning. 10 hits for the Republicans, 11 for the Democrats. Foul ball out of play. Runner was getting ready to jump on that, too. Both teams running effectively early and often. Ton of stolen bases for the Democrats so far this evening. And if the ball leaves the infield, they're coming home even, I think, from second or maybe even first tonight. Brady goes closer to second to hold the runner. Ruiz at the plate. The pitch. It's high for a ball, and the stolen base. Ruiz gets to third, doesn't think about running home, and that was a good idea. Actually, Jeffries.
Yeah, that was an awkward slide from Hakeem Jeffries. It almost looked like an emergency late slide, realizing that was going to be a closer play if the throw was on target, which kept him from being able to go home when the ball got into left field.
Ruiz at the plate, Jeffries on third. Nobody out here. Ruiz with a 3-1 count. Roddy Davis, the catcher, settles in. Flashes some signals. Some might be random. The 3-1 pitch. This one's high, and taking his base is Raul Ruiz. Back-to-back walks for the Democrats to begin this 6th inning. Aguilar at the plate. He reached via error the last time that he was up. Scored the 8th run in that 4-run 5th for the Democrats. He also got a hit in the 2nd inning, struck out looking in the 1st. Runners at the corners. Jeffries not going anywhere, though, on third. Hugs the bag a bit. Right-handed hitter, Aguilar digs in. Nobody out here in the 6th inning. Runner goes. Fielding pitchers, catchers indifference. They let him take second. Runners on second and third now. Back-to-back stolen bases. 1-0 the count. Fly ball is caught by the third baseman.
Denver Riggleman with the putout.
Yeah, Riggleman with the putout as Aguilar pops out. Cedric Richmond at the plate now. Perhaps the final time he'll come to the plate. He hopes, definitely.
I can't imagine that they'll pitch to him. There's just they cannot afford to have him get a hit here and knock in a pair.
He walked the last time he was up and he scored from first.
But I mean,
yes,
I feel like you got to take your chances with whoever's coming next.
Pineda likely on deck. First pitch taken, ball. 1 out. Runners on second and third.
Did he cut the sleeves off of that?
I think maybe mid-innings. It's akin to Buzz Williams, the Virginia Tech coach, who would take off a jacket and a vest, and there's a wild pitch
and a run.
Run scores.
It just seems like he's
runner from second advances to third.
Shedding clothing every inning as we get further into this game.
When you wear multiple layers, I think you can do that. 12-7 now.
You don't necessarily usually wear layers in 89-degree weather, but, you know.
If you're from Louisiana, this is freezing to you. And if you live down on the bayou. 2-0's the count facing Richmond. The pitch, swing, and this one's hit right through the right side of the infield into right field. Runner will walk home from third base. Richmond stretching this one into a double. He's got the wheels and is in safe standing. Sweet double by Richmond and the RBI. Lace that one to right field. Runner scores. 13-7.
Second hit, third time on base in 4 plate appearances. Doing what he does in this game.
Republicans need a touchdown and the extra point to retake the lead here. Jimmy Pineda at the plate now. Has a runner on second. You figure any kind of hit is going to bring home the run. Richmond races to third and gets there safe on the steal. I almost think that he just wants to get home so he can sit back in the dugout and relax. Yeah. Pineda taking that first pitch for a ball. 1-0 offering. Hit on the ground through the left side of the infield. Striding home slowly, relaxing, is Richmond. RBI single for Jimmy Pineda. 14-7 now. Just like that, 3 runs come back to the Democrats. They've led by as many as 8. The advantage now is 7 in the bottom of the 6th. And they've got perhaps their best hitter at the plate right now in Allred, who's smacked the ball to left, center, and right in 3 at-bats tonight. First offering.
Allred does not discriminate against any field.
Well, you know, it really doesn't matter what level of baseball you're playing. If your offense can come up with a big inning, getting a shutdown inning is instrumental the very next half inning. And the Democrats couldn't get it as the Republicans got back in the game, and now the Republicans can't get it as the Democrats open it back up again.
First pitch taken for a ball. Second base is stolen. Second pitch taken for a ball by Allred.
Has to be tough for the GOP because they had such a good inning last inning, and then to all of a sudden have already given up 3 runs, still with 1 out. Swing and a miss on the 2-0 pitch.
Allred thought he had a chance to put some wood or aluminum on that ball, as it were. Formica, maybe.
Pineda takes advantage of the fact that the ball squirted away.
Runner to third. The 2-1 swing and a miss. Allred from the state of Texas. Pineda taking a slight lead at third. 1 out here. Offering, and they're going to call it a strike. Wow. That is what we call painting the corners there, gentlemen. That looked like it was outside.
Looked like an ethos.
Yes. Allred takes, Allred sits. Tom Malinowski who's walked once. He's also had a couple of singles to right field tonight. Driven in some runs, a couple steals as well. 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Democrats have plated 3 this frame. Netted with the leadoff third.
They finally learned their lesson defensively. The right fielder finally moving further in, more in alignment right behind the second baseman, Brady.
The representative from New Jersey takes the first pitch for a strike. Doc delivers. This one's high. 1-1 now. 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's a 7-inning game. So one more at bat for the Republicans to try to extend this game into extra frames or take the lead. That pitch is dropped. It's a ball. Minimal movement there by Pineda as it was blocked by the catcher, Davis. 14-7, bottom of the 6th inning. Democrats have led by as many as 8 tonight. The 2-1 pitch by Doc. Bounces off the catcher again. 3-1 the count.
You take it for granted, when you've got somebody who's, not having the best outing, but throwing a lot of strikes and staying in the strike zone. It's tough to come in and throw strikes, especially been sitting the whole game.
The 3-1 delivery, and it's outside for a ball. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks after back-to-back hits from Malinowski. Runners at the corners now.
He's been an unexpected bright spot tonight, reaching base 4 times.
Ruben Gallego at bat for the Democrats, making a pinch hit appearance here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Doc, the man who wears number 41, on the mound for the Republicans here in relief of Stubbe. 14-7, the Democrats lead. 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The delivery off the mark.
Another stolen base.
Yeah, for a ball and another steal. Are we feeling this is more like the 60s Cardinals or the 80s Cardinals, perhaps? I don't know. There's a lot of running tonight. Malinowski.
There really is.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stolen bases so far this evening for Malinowski. This pitch is low and in the dirt. 2-0. Gallego with a patient eye. As runners on second and third. Democrats lead 14-7. They've plated 3 runs this inning after a 4-run Republican 6th. Democrats have left 3 on base, and that ball's grounded to third base. The throw in time, but a runner scores. But that was the third out, as fate would have it. In tradition, when it's the third out, the runner that scores does not count. That'll do it for it. Yes, that'll do it for us here in the 6th inning as we'll take a break. Try to find out who Doc is. Our score after 6 innings. Democrats lead the Republicans 14-7. You are listening to federalnewsnetwork.com, watching C-SPAN, and streaming at WTOP.com.
pitches. He had a rough inning the last inning. I'm sure the quicker he can make work of them, the better. And he doesn't want this thing to get stretched out and, end up in a 30 or 40 pitch inning.
13 hits for the Democrats, 10 for the Republicans. Republicans have left 10 on base. Democrats have left 5 on board. 4 errors by the Republicans and just 1 error for the Democrats. Jeff Duncan from South Carolina, he will lead off this inning. For the Republicans, he struck out to lead off the 6th inning. But then the Republicans put some runners on base. The on-base percentage magnet, Kevin Brady, got on board that time, being hit by a pitch. First pitch, swing foul. Left side of the infield, third base side, into the seats. The shortstop from the 3rd District of South Carolina. Duncan, I believe, wearing a Presbyterian College jersey and cap in his picture, shown on the scoreboard.
That is correct.
Yes, second pitch is a ball. 1-1 offering. Taken for a ball, so 2-1 the count for Duncan, who struck out swinging to lead off the 6th inning. Chance to do some damage in the 7th. Takes that pitch for a strike now, 2-2.
Every member from both sides is up on the outside of the dugout rails right now.
2-2 offering, taken for a ball. Duncan, the right-handed batter. We've seen, I think, just one left-handed Republican hitter this evening. Democrats have had a couple of lefties in their lineup. Swing and a foul back. 3-2 the count as he keeps this at-bat alive. I do not want to know the pitch counts because it feels like Richmond has been up there forever. Swing and a miss on the 3-2 pitch. Duncan goes down swinging just like he did in the 6th. Democrats are now 2 away from victory. 5th strikeout of the night as Richmond got Walker down looking to end the 6th. Bill Huizenga. Huizenga makes contact on the first offering. Huizenga from Michigan, the 2nd District. He's here with 1 down. Oh, 0-2 the count now with 1 down in the top of the 7th inning. Swing and a miss. Down on swings for Huizenga.
It's another one where Richmond reached back.
Yeah, he's just throwing fastballs. I mean, he knows the deal, and you get into the tough part of the order here, but with nobody on and 2 out, this is exactly what he wanted.
And this is kind of fitting that 2 of these really good players for both teams are going at each other right now.
First pitch in the dirt.
Cedric Richmond and Kevin Brady.
Yeah, if I'm on the Republican team, if there's one guy that I want up there to keep this inning alive, it's the guy who has 3 walks and has been hit by a pitch and has 2 runs scored tonight.
Kevin Brady is a really good baseball player.
Working the count to 2-0 now as the second one misses. 2-0 pitch.
I don't think
taken for a 3rd ball here.
I don't think Brady's swinging 3.
No
matter what happens.
He might not swing 3-2.
There's a strike.
3-0 pitch taken. Yes. The 3-1 offering. Swing and a miss. He almost went down, not down, out, but almost fell down with the windmill swing right there.
Pulled the string right there.
2 out here in the top of the 7th. The 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss. And the Democrats beat the Republicans 14-7. Cedric Richmond strikes out the side to end whatever threat there may have been. He finishes with 7 strikeouts on the evening, collects the win, improves to 8-0 in the Congressional Baseball Series. No.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't sure at the start. 3 runs in the first inning before his side could even get up to bat. And really settled in after that. Obviously, the Republicans fighting back in the 6th inning with 4 runs. But in 5 of the 7 innings, he put up a 0 and finishes with as strong a statement as he possibly could. 3 straight strikeouts.
Mitchell, both teams played well this evening in parts. Democrats just a little too much at the plate and on the mound. Were any deals made out there on the base pass this evening between some of the representatives?
Well, you know, it's interesting you mentioned that because as they've been talking about what's going to happen with border funding, there was a tweet from a Washington Post reporter today who said that a Democratic lawmaker said that they might be caucusing after the game to discuss that. And the tweet was that there was an audible gasp from a reporter. A friend of mine actually sent me an email and asked me if I was the one that gasped. I'm going to say on the record, I was not the one
You
that
are
gasped.
not that man.
I was dedicated to whatever happens here at the ballpark as well as whatever happens afterward. But really, it was a very entertaining game. And I think if you're the Republicans, there's a lot to like about a lot of the new players on their team. I like the pitching and the gutty performance, you know, from Stubbe. And I just thought it was a very entertaining game, as it always is.
Gentlemen, thanks for sharing the best seat in the House with me this evening as the Democrats defeat the Republicans 14-7. This has been the 58th Annual Congressional Baseball Game on C-SPAN.